Okay, opening.
Wait, really? That quickly? It says. I think it says that the the video's live. I like clicked go live and it immediately started. It doesn't usually do that. So
Yeah, it looks like it's live.
Please stand by
someone's
as I open up the text chat.
so okay.
Okay, there, everything is open. Hello, welcome.
Hey guys. So yeah, this Q&A has a visual component in terms of the YouTube video that I'm streaming live right now. I'm here myself in someone's mic, by the way.
Yes, I was just about to say, if you're participating on Discord and watching it on YouTube, you need to view the YouTube video.
Yes, please.
Yes, Father.
I still hear my. I think okay, whatever. I think we're good now. It sounds like we're good. So, yes, this Q&A has a visual component. I am streaming that live right now on YouTube. It also has a Discord component where people can join and ask us questions on Discord, on our Discord. If you don't follow our Discord server, you should, I guess. I don't know.
I'll post it in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, there we go. So,
Here it is. Okay.
okay, how this is going to go down. So this time, we had people submit some questions to us in advance. And we're going to answer those questions, and then we'll start taking stuff from the chat. I keep hearing pings from somewhere.
Same as this chat, I think.
I think
Or at
it's
least
just
for me.
people joining the voice chat on Discord.
I should have muted it. Whatever, I don't care. Yeah, there might be some weird audio stuff. We've never done this Q&A on Discord and on YouTube before, so sorry.
Thank you to Caitlin for organizing all the questions and organizing this event.
Yes,
Oh,
it was.
excited. We have some really good questions.
Yeah.
So, excited.
I think the main reason we wanted to do this is because it seems like there's a lot of new players and a lot of people keep asking questions, and this just gives you a chance to do that in a more official capacity and with a visual component. I will caution, I'm not going to be able to show syncing stuff today visually. Sorry. We do have a great video going over the lifeboat system, though, that I've linked on the Discord in the announcements, I think. So you can watch that one. The system hasn't really changed since then. So if you want to see visually how the system works, you can use that video as a reference. But anything else, pretty much, I'm willing to show. I should turn the sound off too before I accidentally blast us with music. Okay, so I think we're probably ready to start going through the list of questions then.
I think so.
Yeah, no reason to delay.
That works. We can go ahead and start.
I've got
I was just silent.
Yeah,
All right,
I've got.
well,
I'm
off
getting.
the top.
I was told to be on my best behavior, so I accept too much.
I was not told this, so
I was pulling the list up over here. I've got it opened now. I'm trying to also keep eyes on the chats and in both chats. Just fun. Okay. From the top of the questions list?
Mhm.
You want to read the first one? Or shall I?
The first question is a really good one. Something we get asked a lot. It's, what does God modding mean?
What does God modding mean? That is a good question. Who should answer this? Do you want to try answering it, Goose?
Me? Okay. I wasn't prepared. I didn't know.
Well, you know,
I
you always
can-
talk about how you're,
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So, wait, we didn't do introductions.
Well, yeah, true.
Okay, we'll get back to this God modding question in a second. Sorry. We're horribly disorganized as always. You probably know me. I'm Shane. I do a lot of other streams and stuff. I'm not going to waste time with me.
I am a human.
Someone says you cannot hear the goose. That's interesting.
Me? Why can't you hear me?
I'll boost your volume.
You probably turned me down for D&D.
No, you're decent, but I'll boost all of you guys' volumes a bit. Alright, try talking now.
Hello, can you hear me? Let me listen to the stream for a second. I can hear it sort of.
I boosted all of you guys' volumes, so.
Somebody said that. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Then, so I guess I am Goose. I most claim to fame is that I'm married to Shane. Woohoo. I also try to break the game. That's my biggest thing. I get handed the copy for the year, and then they're like, "Here, see if there's anything wrong." And I say yes, and they're like, "It's been 5 minutes. How'd you do that?" And that's mostly what I do for the game. I also am just a overall cryptid in the community.
Someone else go.
I'm Remy, and I am your favorite Facebook/Instagram/Titanic Voyage YouTube channel person thingy.
Perfect. Next.
I'm Caitlin, or Duchess, if you know me on Discord. I've been playing about, I lost count, 11 or 12 years now.
Yeah. And Caitlin, again, is the one who had the idea for this Q&A. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Andrew. I made the server, and I really like the band Toto.
That's
I think that's
Andrew.
an understatement.
Yeah, it is.
And any other takers before we get into the god modding question?
Yes, I can go.
There's a few other people.
My name's Diggle. This is my third year in TVRPG, and I would help with modding in the Discord server. And I can confirm, Andrew really likes Toto.
Indeed. You know.
Yes, I do.
I think that. No, wait,
I
no,
think
there's
that
one more.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Again,
forgot.
some people mentioned they're hearing an echo, but I'm not sure if that's from people's mics or whatever.
I can kind of hear it when a few of you guys are talking, and I can hear it now while I'm talking. Weird.
Maybe just try muting if you're not talking, maybe, I guess.
It's Dr. Jane.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I heard it. Just briefly.
Can you mute when you're not talking, maybe?
Give push to talk?
Push to talk would be perfect too, yeah. Sorry for the technical difficulties, we always have them.
You'd think by now we'd learn how to practice.
Nah.
Oh, I guess I was supposed to introduce myself. My bad. I'm Rachel. I've been around forever, and that's basically it.
There we go. Okay. I think that's everyone, pretty much. Do you want to take the god modding question now, dude?
now that we've done what we should have done at the beginning.
Yep.
So god modding is essentially, in its essence, when you roleplay as someone else's character or do an action without gaining consent first. So an example would be if I were to, let's just say that Shane's character was named Dave. And I was like, oh, I punch Dave and he falls over dead. That would be a type of god modding, because first of all, punching someone it should not result in death, and then second of all, I'm pretty sure I didn't ask Shane if he wanted Dave to die. Cancel Dave.
Cancel Dave. Dave did nothing wrong in this situation.
Jeez,
Dave
Dave
got
was
punched.
Dave was just having dinner. Like, I'm the one at fault here. Oh wow. I forgot. I'm not referencing Dave the raccoon. I just picked a random name. I literally.
What in the world are you doing to my baby?
I'm not. I literally picked a name out of my hat. I looked at the first.
Dave?
Daniel was the other name coming to me. I was like, I don't like Daniel that much. I'm gonna go for Dave.
It is short and sweet. It works.
Yeah.
It works.
My name is Dave, and I feel seen.
That picture is still on my fridge.
I do see an interesting question in the Discord that I'll just take because I think it could kind of relate. Like, do you see do you guys as admins / mods think there's a point where characters try too hard to come off as heroes of the Titanic situation? That's another form of god modding to me, when you use external knowledge to kind of influence your actions in the roleplay. Like, for example, nobody on the ship knew early on, except for a very small group of people, that the ship was actually going to sink, and many of them didn't even know until like nearly an hour after the ship had even hit the iceberg that it was going to sink. And seeing a lot of people like rushing to the boat decks early on, or just like 5 minutes after the ships hit the iceberg being like, I think that this is bad, guys, like that's really not realistic, and that's using your real world knowledge to influence your character's actions in game. And like, that's not as
I would be
carefully
metagaming more than god
that's maybe
modding,
more metagaming maybe,
but they're I would say go hand in hand.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like,
I'd like to expand a little bit on what Kelly was saying about god modding, and Shane did the animals with me a couple of years ago, where
I was there too.
I'm sorry, I guess you were talking. If you actively interrupt somebody's experience or go out of your way to like bully or, like I said, interrupt, and that's another form of god modding. Whereas, with our animals, Shane and Kelly, we were just doing our own little thing, and people would come in and just like try to instigate and bully and agitate, and that's not really acceptable either.
That's very true.
yeah.
It's just like with going back to my baby raccoon. I got a message saying that, he was put away in the kennels and I needed to go see an officer to get him out and to talk to them about it. And it's like, well, no.
No, yeah, actually, no, that didn't happen.
And it's just, you can't make decisions like that for other people
or
when it's not
like,
your character.
As we were talking about earlier, the goose having been caught and was cooked, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm walking around as the goose.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the goose was not, in fact, cooked.
Yeah. And I attended my own dinner party.
That's a good follow-up, too. If someone else role-plays your character, like, doing something you didn't approve of, such as, like, hugging them or taking photos, etc., like, how would you say you should handle that? I think a good first step is maybe just out of character, be like, no, my character didn't do that, please ask me next time, or like, you can use the in-game messaging feature to ask people like, are you okay if I do this, if you're really unsure, or I always frame things as like trying to do actions. Like I say, like, I'll try to give the person a hug, because then that leaves room for them to reject it, like, oh no, I don't accept that action. I'll always try and carefully frame stuff that way.
Yeah, one thing I do that first of all, I've been role-playing for 16 or 17 years now. Not on Titanic. I've been role-playing since I was 11 on Neopets, and I've gone from many different platforms. And something I've learned over the years in the form of god modding or just consent in general in roleplay, which is very important. Consent is key in not just relationships. One thing you can do is implied actions. So say like would go to hug, and that would leaves it open for accept or rejection. So like then someone could be like accepts the hug, and that way it's sort of a it leaves also a back and forth for dialogue that way.
Yeah. So I think it's a great topic we could talk a lot about, but we do have a lot of questions, so we probably should move on a bit. But if you guys really want to know more about any of these topics, you can always just bring it up after the fact or later on in the Q&A after we get through the pre-submitted questions. We're always willing to help out. But I think that's very good discussion because it can just lead to people getting really aggravated if you kind of just write their characters for them. I'll go ahead and take the next question. I see someone asked, do crew cabins function differently than passenger cabins? Does it affect my character, how I can play if I register as a stewardess? No. In the current system, all the crew are treated the same. You can book them in any cabin and they can do anything you want in-game. Future years, we are thinking of trying to overhaul the crew system a bit more to make it a little more realistic, but currently you could have like a stewardess staying in an engineer cabin or the crewman from the deck staying like in a bellboy quarters or something. I don't know. You can do weird stuff right now and it won't affect you in any way in game. Also on cabins, I see the next question. What should I do if I got a bad cabin? Will it make the game less fun than if I got one of the good ones? No. I think like all of us here can say that most players probably honestly barely spend any time in their cabins. And it's like
I very rarely.
Yeah.
I think the only time I'm in my cabin is when I go to put my Tamagotchi to sleep for the night when I get offline.
Yeah, like you
I
can.
really equate the cabins to almost being like at a hotel. You don't spend a lot of time in your room if you were at a hotel or on a cruise, or like when I go to Las Vegas, I'm hardly in my hotel room. You go to sleep, you go to shower, and you go there to sometimes use the bathroom if you're in the room. But other than that, you're out and about. So if you have what you consider a crappy cabin, don't worry about it. You're probably not going to be there that much.
That's a really good analogy, and I agree. I think in 12 years of playing, I've maybe done 30 minutes total each year in a cabin. So
Yeah, occasionally I've had years where I have like a very long and insightful chat with someone in my room. That's really the only time I use it. It's just for those private conversations, and honestly, like it's just a room image. It doesn't matter if it's a suite or if it's a normal room. You get the same functions in it every time.
Can we mention?
Yeah, go for it.
Can we mention to newbies that private conversations in locked cabins are only private temporarily until the end of the game?
That is true. Any conversation that you have will be seen in the end game history records.
Yes, yes.
We all see it.
Yeah.
Eventually.
And I will say, we will laugh at it.
Yes, every single year, people do things in their cabins when they have the doors locked, thinking that it's not being seen by everyone, and then they're really embarrassed when they realize that it's seen by everyone in the history.
Oh, it is seen, and it is.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. There is some hot stuff in the history logs, and
I mean, it's fun to read.
I think this would be a good opportunity for. I'll go ahead and give the spiel that if you guys are in love with your wife, with your girlfriend, you fall in love with somebody on the ship, and you guys decide to take it there is always a fade to black option when you guys decide to roleplay that stuff. I would really highly advise from going completely graphic, even with the door locked.
I will admit, I have had a character in an intimate situation, but I have faded to black.
Me too.
Also, this is the internet, guys. You don't always know who's behind the character that you're engaging with, so be aware of that.
Yeah, definitely is. Just don't do it. Or if you are, like, do it outside of the game is my advice. Another cabin-related question. Someone says, I'm part of a party of 6. We could only get 3 cabins for the 6 of us. We've not gotten any other cabins in the purges yet. What should we do? We each want our own cabin. My advice, don't each go for your own cabin. Try and recalibrate your characters into one room, because if the room can hold multiple people, why waste that much space, you know? 6 cabins. Yeah, 6 cabins is a whole lot of used up cabins that could be other people playing the game. And I get that everyone wants their own cabins, but again, just in line with what we said before, how people barely ever use their cabins, that's like potentially players that are being kept from the experience just so you all can say you have your own rooms. And I just think in general, I think this is the first year
that I think it's the first year we've had an own dedicated channel to request share cabins because there's so many players. So I would say, you know, if you can try to book appropriately, and then, like you said, try to get your party in one cabin, it frees up a lot of space for other people too.
And if you have space, consider sharing just for the community. You don't even have to roleplay that you are sharing a room necessarily. It's just nice for the community if you were able to share.
Yeah. I
think
you
could even message, you two could decide, hey, we're gonna roleplay that we're not actually sharing this room. We're just gonna, share it discreetly so that we can play this game.
Yeah, exactly. The more you can do to help other people get in, the better, because there's such a demand and there's never going to be enough rooms. So just be considerate of that. Like, really think, am I going to actually play any significant scenes in this room, or am I just using it as a means to play in all the other rooms in the game? If the answer is that you're there for the other rooms and not for your cabin, then you should probably consider opening it to share with people. And in fact, I know next year we will have more rooms open to share. Where did the list of questions go? Here it is. Will every cabin in the ship have its own photo? There's a little more to this question, but basically the answer is yes. I've been going through some of them as people are asking in the YouTube chat to see certain rooms, and every cabin has a photo, yes. It may not be 100% accurate to the room, especially in the lower classes, but it's at least decently representative of the room. Like I think one of these I was shown the other day on aft D deck, not this one. Yeah, like this one here, for example, you can see the sheer of the room. It might not be exactly the same furniture layout as this kind of room would have had, but it's at least fairly representative of what the room would look like.
Well, you'll see in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's very true. I always forget about
it. If you're in the Discord chat, you'll see in about 30 seconds.
Another cabin question. Is it possible to kick people out of a cabin if it's full? Yes, in your cabin, you can select the passenger list. Give me 1 second. I didn't think about this, but I need to get it open on another tab here. Oh god, the music. Stop the music. Which room is he in? People forgot the YouTube part existed. Uh-oh. Someone take screenshots and post them in the Discord chat for people who aren't watching the YouTube video. I'm gonna get my favorite.
It's so thrilling. Woo!
Yeah, just seeing random cabins. I'm gonna get my favorite test dummy, Mr. Ismay, in here. So in your cabin, you pull up the passenger list, you right-click on the person you want to get rid of. You won't have all of these options. You'll just have send home, I think it is. You can kick people out of your room. It's one of the options in the list. The list I have here is a little different because I'm logged in as an admin, but you'll have the option to kick people out of your room by basically doing that. I think we're getting to like some of the icebreaker type questions we probably should have started with. This one is, which staircase is better, forward grand staircase or aft? Forward second class staircase or aft?
I don't know the difference.
Neither do I. You down at the I don't know. Like, sure.
I'm like, all I know is the one with the clock.
All
Well,
of the above.
they all have clocks.
Oh.
You can ask.
Never,
You can ask
never
Andrew.
mind.
Andrew walked through every single staircase on the ship
That's true.
all the time last year.
Oh yeah.
No, not last
Andrew.
year before last.
I honestly, I respect Andrew for that. Like, that's some dedication that I don't have.
Yeah, we would invite him somewhere, and he wouldn't show up for 20 minutes.
Because he'd be busy being like, hello to everybody in the room that he passes.
I'll
Walking
take
down
this.
the hallway.
I'll take this question. The aft grand staircase is clearly better because it's got way more rooms around it. Fight me. And the forward second class staircase I'm kind of liking more because it's got the elevator and it's just very pretty in general, especially at night.
Okay, but really, they all have clocks? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, some are much more impressive than others. The sea deck? Well, I'm not going to get into it, but yeah.
I think it
A lot of
depends on
them
which
have
size
clocks.
of clock you like.
Yeah, if you
Wink,
if you mean
wonk.
the big fancy clock, then you'd be saying the forward staircase. So you'd be disagreeing with me. Not a question. I just wanted to thank everyone on the team for creating such an amazing experience. It's been a huge motivator for me in my schoolwork. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
You forgot the greater than 3.
Oh, yeah, greater than 3 symbol at the end as well. Sorry for not reading that off. Oh no, I've lost track of the YouTube chat. Where is it? There it is. Someone's... Yeah, I'll go to that cabin in a sec. Here's a fun question. If you were a cookie, what type would you be? Bonus, what type of cookie would you want to be?
I think I would just be my favorite cookie.
Which is what?
White chocolate macadamia nut.
Oh, that's a really...
Ooh.
It's a really good...
I think I'd have to be an. I think I would have to be an Oreo because that's my favorite is Oreo.
I know that I would be a snickerdoodle because I'm pretty much just a boring sugar cookie, but just with a hint of spice.
I like that answer.
Well, I'm fancy, so I'd be a macaron.
Ooh.
Obviously.
Oh,
Let's
is unrelated,
go
but-
with chocolate chip with a hint of mint.
Ooh, I like that.
I would be a biscuit.
A biscuit. Like the British biscuit or the Southern biscuit?
Yes.
the cabin image for C70 might be getting an update. I'll just say that. But someone asked to see it, and one of the images doesn't look that great. I think the type of cookie I would be, which I think is in the game. I really like. Yeah. The whoever said the macadamia nut, that's probably mine too. I really like the
I
macadamia
do like white
nut.
chocolate.
Yeah.
I agree.
white
A
chocolate.
biscuit with honey on top is.
White chocolate's my favorite.
I don't. Okay, this is gonna make everybody hate me. I don't like chocolate.
I don't either.
Oh, I knew I loved you.
I know I loved it too. I'm
It's
more
okay.
of like a salty, like savory type of person.
I
than
I
am-
love savory
Yes.
sour.
Rachel, we know you're salty. You don't have to point it out.
I am
mean,
very
that's-
salty, but
that's
I
really good.
like a savory and a sour more.
Yeah, I like sour too, but I'm
But
definitely
not
a
like
salty
I'm not
person.
talking sour like nasty. Well, I do like gummy worms, but like not like candy sour because that's actually just sweet. I'm talking like vinegar sour. Like I can literally drink vinegar.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but I'll let you have it.
Don't judge me. I like
I'm
vinegar.
not, no judgment. I'm letting you have it.
A friend of mine drinks hot sauce, so yeah, I guess nothing's too insane.
Oh.
I have
Okay.
had the Carolina Reaper hot sauce before, and it
Oh,
literally felt like somebody was stabbing my tongue.
Yeah, I tried the bomb hot sauce in the last dab like a few days ago. It is not fun.
No.
I
The aftertaste was delicious, I will say. Like, if you can handle that level of spice, it was good. But if you can't,
I'm not really
I'd say the
a
truff
hot sauce
is my
guy.
favorite.
Yeah, same.
Truff
Can I
hot
choose-
sauce is the best.
Can I choose fortune cookie as my cookie?
what?
What cookie?
Fortune cookie.
Fortune cookie. You know
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a very
Fortune cookies
creative
valid.
one. Yeah,
I
I
like
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
The rare person that actually eats them.
Yeah, I love
Hey,
fortune
I
cookies.
eat my fortune
Hey,
cookies.
Yeah, they're pretty
I
good.
don't.
Okay, I'm gonna admit this is all. It's really weird. When I was a kid, I believed you have to eat the fortune in order for it to come true. So I also ate the fortune.
I heard
fair.
it was you had to eat the cookie.
I heard it was I heard that you had to eat the fortune, so I would eat the fortune and the cookie. So yeah, I ate the whole thing.
To be
Well-
fair, I've heard that, so I haven't done it, but
Okay,
I've heard
I'm not the only one who
Okay.
heard that you had to eat the fortune. I'm glad.
I like how
Back
the,
to questions.
icebreaker-
Cookie.
Yeah.
I like how the icebreaker question had more discussion than
Like any of the others, I know. Except maybe
Well,
the
next
god modding
question.
one. But yeah, next question is what would happen if I were to miss the sinking? If I'm not online for the sinking, can I still survive?
No.
No, yeah, if you miss the sinking, your character will be dead in whatever room they last were in. Unless they're historical, they will still be pulled into their correct boat if they survive.
There's also one question I could add on to that
Yeah.
it came to mind a few weeks ago. What if someone say gets a spot in a lifeboat but it doesn't load yet and they disconnect? Would that like exclude them from the lifeboat? I
They
say
should
if like during the evacuation, if they get the invitation and before they load in, they disconnect.
Yes, they should still be pulled into the lifeboat. According to
that's-
Daniel, it's very powerful pull, and it should get you no matter where you are.
That's cool.
I do love the.
I think he's.
Go on.
I think he's asking, like, do you have to actively accept it before you get disconnected? If you don't accept the invitation, would you hold in?
You will have to click yes on when the
Yeah, that's-
prompt pops up. You do have to accept the prompt to get in the boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you ignore the prompt or get disconnected while you see the prompt, then yeah, you don't have that. But if you've accepted, then you're set.
There's a really good follow up to that in the chat. Is what are your thoughts on people dying in game, but then making Carpathia character or writing like they survived it?
I have a very long speech about this. And I think Remy and I are on the same page with this too. That
I was about ready to say, how long do you want us to talk about this?
I was like,
be a while.
Remy and I are really on the same wavelength with this because
Let's
I
Goose
find it to
have
be
this-
I find it to be extremely disrespectful, honestly, because while we do like to have fun and we do joke around about this game a lot, we do also try to honor the tragedy that happened, and to basically, in my opinion, to do that is in a way to laugh in the face of people who didn't get a second chance in real life. And that's like the short way of saying how I feel about it. I just think it's extremely disrespectful. And That's all I'm gonna say on it, really. I could go on for a long time about it, but
Yeah,
we'll leave it at that.
I will add to that if you're upset that your character died and didn't get to finish their story, I can name 1,500 other people who died that are upset they didn't get to finish their stories, and you should definitely keep that in mind when you consider reviving them, because none of those people got to revive themselves. And yeah, that's really.
I think at the end of the day, and I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. I think at the end of the day, we need to realize that yes,
Oops,
this
broken
is a
image.
game, but this is also kind of our tribute to the 2,200 passengers and crew aboard that ship. And we need to realize, and I think Shane just said it perfectly, that 1,500 of them pretty much got a game over sequence in the middle of the night on April 15th. They didn't get a reset. We get the amazing opportunity April 18th, once we get off of Carpathia in New York, to hit the reset button and do it all over again. For however long this lasts. They didn't get that chance. So I think what we're all asking is if your character dies, yes, I get it. It's not fair. It sucks. It's, it's one of the worst feelings in the world. But this is why we do it. We all roll the dice, and at the end of the day, we just you need to accept the outcome of what happened to your character. Register a new one on Carpathia. Go to heaven. I'm going to jump down the list real quick because I saw this question. I have no idea if we're ever going to make a hell chat for the people who were in the padded room when the ship went down. But just make the best of it because you get another chance next year.
Yeah, I agree.
Go.
No, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, somebody in chat said we all know what we're signing up for. There's a chance our character won't make it, and we all get very attached to our characters. I know everybody in this Discord has probably cried over a character before, but as Shane and Remy and everybody else said, real people didn't survive, and our tears kind of echo their loved ones. So.
And I really like the statement from the Discord as well, that if you are fictional, meaning your character, play your character knowing their story might end tragically on the 15th, get attached and all that, but don't get bitter. We all know what we're signing up for, because I mean, you don't want to not be attached to your character because you're like, oh, they might die, because it does take you out of that immersion that makes this experience so magical. But you also don't want to become that person who becomes so jaded to the fact that, oh, it's this stupid game ruined my experience. I mean, I have talked to my therapist before about this game because I could not disassociate from a character, and I was crying because I lost 7 of my friends, and I was like, I literally am crying and mourning like I lost these real people in my life. And so, this game does affect you, and I can definitely get why people would be upset. But we also have to, like I said, be respectful about it. And
I would really hope that nobody's signing up to play a Titanic role-playing game expecting to live.
That's very true.
Yeah, one idea that one thing that I've heard a lot that is really well said, may even say here, but to emphasize, you shouldn't write an aftermath story since you don't know you shouldn't write it before you know whether or not you're gonna live, because
exactly.
that's kind of counterintuitive to the entire situation.
Do not write your aftermath before you've played the game. That's always so weird to see.
Yeah, I once saw an argument by just some character who revived from the dead that's saying because of their aftermath story they had to remake them, but it's just at that point,
you shouldn't have had the
mentioned
aftermath
before,
story.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw another good comment here in Discord my advice: if your character dies, own it and own the sadness. It's sometimes even more satisfying than the happy ending.
It's
And
very true.
I absolutely 1000% agree, because here's the deal: is yes, your character died. However, you've got to realize that everyone who may have become friends with your character is now impacted by that, who's on the lifeboats and who's on Carpathia. You kind of get out of not having to deal with the grief.
That's true.
Everyone who survives now has survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
Like I said, I talked to my therapist about that. Because I was the only one. We did a big collab of like 7 or 8 people, and I was the only one who lived. And I literally, because we had been for a year planning this, and I was the only one that lived. And I like was so messed up because I got so attached to these people. So like it is hard being the one that lives.
Okay, I'm gonna get us through a few more questions. Yeah. We talked about this a lot, but I think all of that was very good for people to hear, and hopefully you take it to heart, because it seems like most players agree with that sentiment. I feel like it's a trap a lot of newcomers might fall into, where they really try and survive because they think like if you die you don't win or something. I don't know. That's typically how most games work, but in this game you kind of just have to accept what happens.
We are all winners in this. Well, actually, I guess we would say we're all losers in this game because it's a tragedy.
I guess that's true. Are there any new changes to the lifeboat system? Not really. No. It's basically the same as last year, so again, reference that video if you need a refresher on it. How does boarding lifeboats from the promenades work? So I can't show the sinking, but again, it's in that video, I think. But basically, the part of the promenade the boat's going by will light up just like the main boat deck does, and you just go there, and then you have a chance to get taken into the boat, and you'll get a prompt potentially. It's pretty simple.
I was taking a drink when I saw someone in the Discord chat. I can't show the sinking, but and then it says it sinks. Spoiler alert! Jeez, what a spoiler on that!
Sorry, I gave away the ending of the game, guys. Dang,
gosh,
sorry.
How dare you?
Hell, you gave away the ending to multiple Titanic movies.
Yeah.
I'd spoiled a bunch of movies. Yeah, wow. Sorry for that. I should have marked that one with spoilers before saying it. Sorry. You guys are absolutely right.
Spoiled the end of my book.
What are the odds of getting swim to lifeboat? Oh, that's okay. So yeah, when you're in the water in the sinking, you do have a chance of getting picked up in a lifeboat. And the odds of you being selected for that, I think it's, I forget if it differentiates between men and women. I think if you're
just
a man,
say it, Shane. It's slim to none.
Yeah, it's very small. Yeah, very small. But I think it's better for men than it is women. I think because men are more physically adept in the water than the women.
I thought you said it was a free for all.
It essentially is. In fact,
that's really sexist, Shane.
This is just going off of the history. I'm talking about the history. You barely see any women.
You just said men
survive.
are more adept in the water than women.
Excuse me, I was a competitive swimmer for 12 years.
Yeah, okay, I understand this, but in terms
Meet
of
me
the
in
history,
the pit, scrub.
The history of the event.
I don't know how to swim.
Virtually everyone saved from the water was a man. I'm just saying. But
I know Phelps' character.
What about Rose?
What about Rose? That's why
she had a pass.
Okay.
Oh yeah, true.
Okay, but hashtag they both could have fit.
Okay, before we get way off topic.
We are not getting into that debate.
Before we get way off topic with that, I'm just going to say that your odds of getting picked are basically 1 out of however other many people are in the water.
Yeah, I think out of...
Or maybe not
how
1,
many
but
years
it's like 3 people maybe per boat, so it's a very small group of people.
I think out of however many years we've been doing the... I forget when the... that was added to pick up from the water, but I think I've gotten it once in at least 4 years. So.
Yeah, it's essentially there's only going to be like something like 12 seats total, and there's usually something like 300 people in the water. So if you do get picked, know that you are very lucky. Lifeboat 14. Do passengers go and pick up collapsible A, or do they get transferred to another boat?
I can grab that one since I'm
Yeah,
usually
please.
the one doing this.
I forget which boats they go to, so please.
Well, I know that for the collapsibles, the two that end up floating off the ship, what we end up doing is we try to make sure that an admin is on each of those boats, because what we end up doing is, and Shane, correct me if I'm wrong, we actually end up having to manually transfer each and every single one of you over to 14, and then I forget what the other boat is, but
I think it's 12. Just offhand, I don't know. It says in the game. I forget.
One of my favorite things is being on one of those boats, and then suddenly an admin comes in, and everyone's like, "Oh no, why is the admin here?"
Like, oh my god, someone in the water! Quickly, pull him in! It's like, no, I'm just here to move you guys. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's always like, oh no.
We haven't. I have we figured out if we're going to be able to finally get the system to finally do that for us at some point.
I want to. We need to. It's annoying.
It's annoying to pull. And then of course I forget if we one year had a person who was in a lifeboat. Well, no, because if you guys log off when you're still in the lifeboat and Carpathia boarding happens, you will be pulled onto Carpathia. So you just won't get the opportunity to play the switching of the boats and playing an actual not upside down or sinking lifeboat.
Yep.
But we would prefer you not just leave the lifeboats after getting on one. Please stay in roleplay.
If you can, it's nice, because they always kind of get a little dull, usually. I understand, like, we need breaks, but...
I've heard... if you need a break to cry over characters, please...
Yeah, that's fine.
I've done it before. But if you can, and we also understand that some of you have to work the next day, but if you can at all possible, stay on the lifeboats, because it's so disheartening to see a full lifeboat of people get launched, and then the moment it touches the water, see maybe it's either empty or there's like one person, sitting all by their lonesome.
And also being that one person all by their lonesome is really hard, because you're like, okay, I guess I'm just here all by myself.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's annoying.
Just crying alone.
I think one year you actually transferred me to another boat because I was like
so bored. I did.
Yeah.
I remember. Will we ever see any kind of moving pictures, like GIFs in the RPG? For example, a GIF. I've said it both ways so that no one can hear.
No!
Of a certain lifeboat being lowered. I'm not sure about that, possibly, but it's honestly not a bad idea. But we'd only have to. It's hard because we'd have to play it once, and we couldn't play it more than once.
But Shane, don't you see a lifeboat? Don't you see them like being lowered from the ship themselves in the animation?
In the animation, yes, I actually can show that.
That's a really cool feature.
I was gonna say, speaking as a millennial who speaks in GIFs, I vote no.
Yeah, in the animation you can see the lifeboats getting launched. Like, if you look.
I'll say, everybody, please, if you can, try to watch the animation. Shane works really hard on them, and he's always so proud of them. He is constantly like, "Come look at what I did to the animation."
Well, you get to see the lifeboats, just the ones on the starboard side.
Yeah, you can't see the other ones yet. Maybe one day.
My first year, there were cutscenes from James Cameron's movie that played at each part. That was just my first year.
For those of you who are recent joiners, it's been a couple years, but for the final plunge part of the sinking, we actually used to use a
Oh yeah, the video. I
An
remember
edited
that.
video.
that played the last 15 minutes of the sinking.
But it
And
had
so
Jack and Rose just edited out pretty much.
pretty much. But
I remember
and
that.
at the first when Shane decided to take it out, I was just like, but no, but it really helped tighten the tension because you see everything. And he's like, we're doing really in-depth animations. I'm like, okay.
And Francis did an amazing job with the sounds. Oh my god.
And then
Yeah.
and then when
And
Francis gave us a preview of what she was doing with the sinking
I know the
soundtrack,
year
I was
And
that happened when Shane had me do the testing for that. I had no idea what to do. He's like, I just need you to sit through this and tell me how you feel. He wanted like a blind test of what basically the layman non-developer would feel walking through that, because as Shane has mentions in a lot of his streams, like when you're the developer, you're in the I don't know what you call it, the thing, the build, whatever, and it's very lonely, and you get kind of desensitized to it. But so I'm very much like the fresh eyes that come in, and so I sat down and I was just going along, and then at first I went through the sunset music, and I was like, oh, I'm a little bit teary, it's very emotional. And then he had me sit through the sinking, and I literally was like, I don't like this. It works. People are gonna not like it, because it makes you feel things.
yeah, the sounds are one of my favorite parts. It adds so much to that.
Yeah, same.
And I don't... Like, there's more for the sinking that you'll see. It's like, I'm not showing it for a reason, so let's just move on to the next question for now. When will the game be mobile friendly? Good question.
When one of the
actually-
developers learns
yeah.
how to do mobile.
Yeah, we actually have some designs for mobile now. It look really cool, but it's just a matter of doing that. And that's the hard part. Next question. How do you like your steak? Oh, ooh, medium well.
Rare. As rare as possible.
There's a thing here called Pittsburgh Rare, which is basically like as rare as you can get it with like the nice crust on the outside. That's why I like mine.
Oh, that sounds perfect. Yeah. My family has a saying of branded is enough.
So you just want it to be like wiped, cleaned, and dehorned and sent
Yeah.
Oof. That's a choice.
I mean, I like it to have a nice warm outside.
Everyone wants a warm outside.
I want to feel like a feral wild beast when I'm eating my meat.
It's a question. Why is
Okay.
everyone asking about steak?
Because we've been asked this like 6 times.
It's just a tradition by now, yeah.
Yeah. Mine's medium rare.
I blacked out. What happened?
How do you take your steak? Answer now.
Faster.
Medium rare.
Oh wait, he left.
He left. That's his answer, okay.
Okay,
It's like, nope.
I suppose it's time to move on to the next question then. What are your next planned steps for Titanic Voyage? You planning some big stuff to add? You want to focus more on polishing what's already in the game? That's a hard question to answer because we usually don't really know until the year's over. We kind of get together after the year and talk about what we want to do next. I do know we have some things in mind for what could be next.
It's great. The developer meeting is just us all sitting around in like a Zoom meeting, drinking.
Pretty much.
That
It
sounds fun.
actually, that's
Also, just
pretty much what
Titanic
it is.
parties. Okay.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh yes, this is our official meeting.
To be a fly in the wall.
For the developer
I
meeting.
do that.
That's mostly
think
how I
that
am.
I think we can kind of confirm that since we have the Cherbourg train and we have the London train to Southampton, I think we can go ahead and confirm at some point we will get around to the Dublin Queenstown train.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. To me, I would like to have a train in every location so you don't have to pick a location based on whether it has a train or not. You can play your story out however
So-
you want.
This question wasn't submitted, but I do remember seeing it a while back. And somebody asked, since you've added the London train, will there eventually be a London build-up like the other towns?
Yes, absolutely. We would like to do that as well. The current train leaves earlier than it should and lasts longer than it should. We'd like to build out London and have the train leave a little later and not take as long. If that makes sense. So you have more time in London.
Great, I get to
then
wake
you
up
take the train.
even earlier.
Well, right now you have to wake up right away for the train. If you don't care about London, you could wake up like an hour later, maybe.
I will go ahead and answer a question I think that is on a lot of people's minds right now, and that is there a station like Gare Saint-Lazare in Paris? And the answer to that one, at least for this year, is unfortunately no. When you log in at 7:45 a.m. game time to board the train that leaves at 8 a.m. sharp, you will automatically already be on said London train. There is no Waterloo station for at least this year.
Yeah, like here, let me refresh. So this is right when the train opens in game and you start right on the train. Yeah. There is no station yet, yeah. That's
I'll
something
build
we'd
it for
look
you,
to
Francis. It'll be made of
Francis.
Lego.
Made of Legos. That is something we would like to improve in the future, for sure. That was a good question. Are there talking sounds in public rooms like dining rooms or smoking rooms? Not currently, but I'll just say that's an idea we've had for like 4 or 5 years now. We just haven't done it yet.
Which reminds me, I actually had an idea for that, but I'll discuss it with you later.
Okay.
Just make a note so I don't forget. Again.
Someone make a note.
You have the notepad?
I know.
I'll make a note.
I'll spam the chat, Kelly, and remind you.
Okay, thank you.
Is it possible to read books within the lounge or library in game? No, but I like that idea a lot, I will say. I think actually that was another idea we've had for a long time, but just not done. But I think
you can be in the I'm getting messages now about I'm getting my reminder messages.
Oh god, there you go.
You could just be in the lounge and read a book. That's possible too.
Yeah, I was gonna say someone that I know is planning on having their character read a book in game, and whenever their character is doing that, they're actually going to be reading that book in real life, so that they can kind of comment on it if people ask. Let's see, where should the list of questions go?
You're stuck on an island. What do you bring? Only 3 items.
A boat, a motor, and gas.
Yes.
Yeah, the obvious answer is like
Okay.
like satellite phone, emergency transponder, and then
Say a
like
boat.
Yeah, a boat, I guess.
Boat, water, and I guess like a cell phone or something.
The entire band of Toto.
And you guys were like actually deciding to get off the island. I was like,
No, see,
maybe like, a tent and like my favorite doll, my stuffed animal, and maybe like, I don't know, a pillow.
Nobody said I wanted to get Nobody said I wanted to get off the island. I just want to be able to explore.
Okay. A fishing rod could also be pretty useful. Except I'm not gonna get into this, but I'm cursed at fishing, so.
I think that I would just bring Rupert because I annoy him so much. He would get us both out of there very quickly.
I mean, I was going to say I'd bring Shane, but he's not an item, so.
Next question, kind of in the same sort of vein. What's your favorite cocktail? You could bring that to an island. Whiskey sour for me, probably. I really like whiskey sour.
I'm torn. I like a gin and tonic, but I don't know if it's my favorite.
I like ice juice.
Ice juice? Oh, water. I really was like, I've never heard of that cocktail before. What is it?
It's pretty good.
Like, I think my favorite is something called the painkiller. Well, what it is just rum, orange, coconut, and pineapple.
Ooh, that sounds pretty good.
Very fruity. I love it.
I mean, I have to be in the right mood for gin and tonic, but I really like it. I'm trying to think what would my favorite be.
Does it have to be a cocktail?
What is? Go ahead with your favorite drink. Yeah,
Champagne?
that counts. Yeah.
Yeah, I count that. That works.
Yeah.
Chicken broth.
I can't drink. I can't drink a lot anymore because of medications, but I do
Same.
like a glass of wine every now and then. But when I was on medication, when I would drink, I like Washington Red Apple.
Okay, I have two options. I like either, it's called rum chata, which is like, if you know about I believe it's just Mexican. It might be other countries, but I know for sure it's Mexican. Drink horchata, which is like, I don't know, it's like flavored rice water with cinnamon and stuff. It's delicious. I love it. But then you put rum in it, and it's rum chata, and oh, it's so good. And it's a lot of money, but it's delicious. I like that a lot. But I also like Stella Artois cider. Those are my favorites.
Rachel likes absinthe.
Oh, that stuff's strong.
I do not like that. That's disgusting.
It tastes so nasty.
Oof. I'm not a
It's
fan
like-
of black licorice.
It's like licorice and toothpaste.
Black licorice, not just
Yum.
licorice.
Yeah, black licorice and toothpaste. It's nasty. Don't drink it. And it knocks you on your ass.
Well, isn't that the point?
Well, I mean, for me, same with Caitlin. Like, I take a medication that like multiplies any alcohol I have by like 3. So we
Oh,
get.
so
Just
you
like
die,
one
is
drink
what
and
you're
you're
saying.
done. Yeah.
I would be on the floor dead by like 2 sips.
The next question is, can Shane answer what all is involved for adding new foods to the game? Yes. It's not very exciting, but...
I thought you were just gonna leave it at yes.
Yes, let's move on. No. So obviously you get the idea for a food, and then the next thing I do is I go online and I look for an image for said food that kind of matches the visual style we've got. All of these are from different artists, but they kind of look very similar. So once I find a good image for the food that looks like that, then you just add it into the game and write the descriptions for it, which is my favorite part. That's usually the most fun part.
Shane, I have a question for you. Will
Yes.
Irish breakfast tea be available in all class areas this year?
Oh.
If the answer is not yes, you lose.
Oh God. You made him get super close to his microphone. It might be because I'm going to tell you guys, he drank all the Irish breakfast tea in our house, so I know it's been on his mind.
I just had some.
Okay, let's see.
I was trying to have some the other day, and I was like, "Where's the Irish breakfast tea?" And he was like, there's English breakfast tea." I was like, "That's not the one I wanted."
Okay,
It's not the same.
I see Irish breakfast in second class. I know it's in first class somewhere. Where? English breakfast. I'm not going to look through every single room, but I know it's in first class. So the question is it going to be in the third class general room? Let's see. Hey, it is. Yeah, it should be in all 3 classes then.
Yay!
Just have to double check first.
Because last year Maggie had to travel all the way down to third to get Irish breakfast tea, and she was not happy.
Well, that should not be an issue anymore, I will hope. Oh, good. If we have an issue with the player, how do we report them and to who? Very easy. You see this report button down here? Click it.
In 30 seconds, they will.
Yeah. In 30 seconds, you'll see it. Click it and write, I have an issue with this player. Obviously, you write out a real report. Then you just click submit report. And that's it.
I have an issue with this person.
I have an issue with this. Yeah. Please be more descriptive about what's actually happening. Don't just send that, or we will not really give it the time of day. But alternatively, if you see anyone with this gold star or a silver star next to their name in game, you can also just talk to them about it, and they'll be able to help you. So either of those two options works. Or to a lesser extent, you can message us on the Discord, but I would discourage that because we're probably not going to be focusing on the Discord so much this year. Is it possible to become a moderator? Typically, if you have to come to us asking, then no. We usually pick people that we trust, and we have a lot of them by now, so. We do occasionally pull new people in, though, so it's not to say the answer is no, but...
If you have aspirations for it, basically, I will say our qualifications are you've been a member for a while, and we see that you're an active member of the community, and that you have proven to us that you are trustworthy, and all that other important stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We will come to you.
Yeah, also just because I've seen a misconception occasionally happen, there's a difference between being a moderator of the game and a moderator of this server. So,
that is true.
Yes. Make sure that's clear.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
This server, while it is the official server, is not the game.
Yeah, and that's why there's going to be hefty slow modes in place during the game, so there's no confusion. How do you post a picture? Oh yeah, go ahead and ask. Sorry. I gotta find it.
Sorry, somebody in Discord just asked, are crew members obligated to respond to passengers' requests? And no, not really.
No.
Yeah, you can ignore whatever you don't feel like dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you want, you can role play that, but nothing's gonna happen to your character if you don't or anything like that.
The crew request stuff is mostly just because it was to spark roleplay opportunities for crew.
Yes. Okay, so this question about how to wear clothes. I'm going to pull up this Google search I did for clothing images.
You put your left leg in, and then you put your talking in game.
Okay, I have a question though. Does everybody so this is a discussion I've had with my mom.
I'm trying to answer.
She can only put her pants on one way, but can you put your pants on with either leg first, or is it just wear one?
I'm trying to provide an answer to someone's very real question. Thank you.
It's the answer is
I do one at a time. Yeah.
I'm ambidextrous, so I can do either.
I guess I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. Now I'm going to think about it next time I do it.
You're welcome.
So I'll get back to
Pay
you
attention.
in like a week. Yeah. Okay, how you do it. So you have an image you want to use as your clothing image. What I always recommend is you right-click on that image and click Open in New Tab, and that will almost always pull it up. Oh, this is a very long URL. But it will almost always pull it up in like the raw image format. Like this, it ends in like .jpeg or dot whatever. You copy that link, and then in-game, you come into your settings and you paste it into your currently wearing, update your profile, and then when you go into another room, you should see that you're now wearing that image. If you don't copy the image that ends in like .jpeg, if it's not the raw image file, if you just copied like the URL to this page itself, that won't work. It has to be the link to the image itself. And that always messes me up every year too. I'll always accidentally get the wrong image, and then I'll try wearing something and it won't work. But yeah, that's my big advice there, is always make sure it ends in like .jpeg or .png or whatever the extension of the file itself is.
Daniel looking fine in his kimono.
I didn't even think about that. You know what? I'm gonna keep it on for the rest of this too.
Also, you skipped a question.
I did. Where?
Yeah. Can I just say I love and appreciate you? That's all.
Oh, I did. How did I miss that? Wait, where's? Okay, I do see that. How did I skip that? I scrolled down a little too far. That's how. Well, once again, thank you. It always means a lot to hear how much people enjoy this game of ours. Here's an interesting question. Can you talk to just anyone? Yeah?
As long as they are receptive to being talked to.
Yeah. Like, there's no... Like, if that's, like, referring to class restrictions, for example, no, I can... I've been doing it this whole stream. I've just been going wherever I want. I can go to the boiler rooms right now. I don't care.
I mean, our first year, how we met Caitlin, we were third class, and Caitlin adopted us from first class.
Yeah, that's true. You might get some weird looks now if you're like a third class passenger going into first class, but...
So I remember that, and I remember it was funny because I remember another player role playing like, "Why are you talking to them?" Blah 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 blah. I'm
Yeah,
like, what's
they're
the big deal?
poor
And I was
people.
like, "Oh, they're third." But no, I didn't even recognize you. Like, kind of okay.
The greatest part is that when Shane first made his character, he didn't realize it was a role play, so he just used his real name.
Oh, yeah. My first year was Mr. Shane Roberts. I just answered this kind of. Do I have to stay in the class I signed up for? No. You can go anywhere and you
Yes,
can talk
you
to
do.
anyone.
I always want to do a year where we restrict classes and see
Oh, I don't think it
that
would go
plays
well. I don't think it would go
No.
good. I'm curious.
No,
but-
honestly, like Cody and Shane and I just said, some of the best friendships are made across classes. So
Yeah, like I'd be curious just to see how it would pan out if you really had like different worlds, but I'd be too afraid to
I
actually
mean,
do it.
I roleplay, like, when I've done third class, I've done, like, first class is this magical place where I can't go, and if I do go into first class, it's in a sneaking manner. It's not like I just walk up there like, I
Yeah.
belong here.
Exactly. I try and play to my class. Like nothing's gonna.
Yeah. Like last year, the only thing my character did is she was up in first class constantly, but she was stealing everything. So, in context, it works.
Do you even need to go below B deck if you eat in the a la carte? Not really. I mean, I could live on like A deck and B deck. Okay. I love the event music that plays in game. Final Sunset makes me cry. Is it possible for even more to be added to the game in future years? Yes, we typically do expand the event music a bit every year. Or maybe not every year, but especially if there's like new locations. Like this year there will be some new music. How does dinner work? Are there assigned tables?
You skipped one.
I did? Again? I did. God, I keep scrolling too far. Can Shane... Okay, here's one someone asked about earlier, and I did say I would answer it. I'll do the dinner question first, because it's real quick and easy. You find your saloon you want to go and eat in. You pick one of the sections in it. You go there, and then you role-play eating. It's that simple. You can pretend you're sitting at a table with people. There's no, like, actual tables currently. That's basically... It's that simple. Can Shane please explain what you look for in making a good joke character? Some of mine have been deleted. I want to know what distinguishes one that gets deleted from one that's allowed.
and somebody just expanded. I'm sorry,
Okay,
somebody
go-
just
no,
expanded
go
on
for it.
that same question, by asking what are your thoughts on joke events? So we could go on joke characters and joke events too.
Joke events. Okay. So for joke characters, what I always say that I look for is someone that can fit into the world of 1912. So it could be from any TV show, any book, whatever you want. It could even just be like a random goose that's wandered onto the ship and causes chaos. Like anything like that can work. It needs to exist within the world of 1912. So like, what?
I was just gonna say, as the monarch of joke characters.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, the what you want to do is play it seriously.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Every joke character I do, I have an actual storyline for them. Even if it's a silly storyline, they have a storyline. And I treat them just like all the same as I would any other character. I don't just throw someone on board just to be like, look, guys, it's, I don't know, Freddy Fazbear, or it's a. I can't think of any good examples offhand.
It's a Teletubby.
Yeah, the Teletubbies. That's a really good one, actually. Oh, look, guys, the Teletubbies on the Titanic. How silly. Like, no, I don't do anything like that. Like, I give them real storylines.
One of the reasons I think that people liked the Goose so much, and Andrew really liked Will Smith, Sir William Smith so much, was that they genuinely had like thought out backstories and time relevant lore.
Yeah, or like I did Marty McFly. He was actually here because of an incident that sent. I'm stuck back here on the ship, and they were trying to repair the DeLorean to leave. Like they had a whole storyline.
Yeah.
And they have
Before we get to the event part of the question is, I saw on YouTube somebody talking about political characters. Like we've had troubles with people playing Hitler and Lenin and stuff like that. So that's definitely a no-no.
Yes, yeah, do not do that. If it's
please give me my screenshots of my bio. I've lost them.
If it's any, yeah, that's not a joke. Basically, if you have to ask if it's appropriate, it's probably not. It's usually a good rule to go by. Remy the Rat from the movie. Yeah, there's been a lot of good joke characters. Like another one I've seen a lot of people talking about this year. Oh no, I accidentally scrolled down. I'll find where I am later. But a lot of people have been talking about the penguins. I think the reason that they are still here and some other jokes aren't is because all of them have very well thought out and fleshed out bios. They're very silly characters, of course, and we might like keep an extra close eye on them in game to make sure they don't cause trouble, but they have bios and they've clearly put some thought into the characters. They're not just here to like single sentence bio, and if they had like a single sentence bio and didn't seem to have much effort or thought or love put into them, then they probably would have been deleted as well, is what I'd like to say, basically.
For the events part of the question, I would say I don't see a lot of events getting deleted except if they are obviously offensive.
Yeah.
Well,
it's the offensive ones, and then we really tried to nip the early morning plunge events on the late night April 14th, early morning April 15th, right after the iceberg in the bud.
That's very true. Yeah, we are much more scrutinous of events around sinking time. In fact, they probably should basically be disabled, if I'm perfectly honest.
I would just like to point out that the Will Smith bug glitch was posted also in the chat. Oh man, this is some cold water.
Am I dreaming?
Am I dreaming? Man, what's going on? This ain't funny anymore. Hello?
Here, I'll very briefly scroll through it here in the video so it's recorded for posterity. This was Will Smith's ending that year at 3:36 a.m. Well over an hour.
Thanks to a bug.
Yeah. I think I found my place. You'll yell at me if I'm in the wrong spot. Can Shane please add if there will ever be syncing images added to the game? We'll get back to you on that one after this year. Does Shane know if the... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, this is just side because the joke characters were mentioned. Are there any favorite joke characters you've seen in the passenger list that stick out to you that you're excited for? I see the penguins and I'm excited for them.
Them and penguins, the lobster?
Yeah,
I was going to say the lobster in the first class kitchen. I cannot wait to cook his father on April 13th.
I cannot
14,
wait to watch
14.
the lobster's dad be cooked.
Oh no.
I told you, I said it's gonna happen. One of my chefs in the restaurant is doing it.
Dude, I'd love, like, take it out of context. I cannot wait to cook his father.
No, the lobster's still there. Lobster is not deleted. This question is, does Shane know if the game will ever? I'm gonna go and say yes.
I feel like
the game will.
I feel like somebody kind of lost their track of thought on that one, but
Okay, but will the game?
Yes, the game will.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
Okay. Yes, so yes, the answer to the will the game ever is yes. Shane and Francis often say second and third class can be more fun than first class. Why do you think this is? How could players make first class more entertaining? Oh boy.
Let the Titanic historian jump in on this one. Yes! Okay, so honestly, this is my first year playing second class. Last year was my first time playing third class. And I can definitely tell you, just based on a historical perspective, the first class is, I don't want to say less entertaining, but it's stuffy. Second and third class had a lot more freedoms, and it's really not about making first class more entertaining. It's just that was the way society was. First class was prim and proper. Second class was more your everyday man, and your third class people had reason to party because they were on their way to start a new life. So it's not that you can't make first class more entertaining. It's just if you're playing it right, you're gonna be, what's the word I'm looking for? Just, you're more proper.
I'll add to that, though,
Whoops,
and say that
I
I
knew it was
have
closed as I
played
keep opening it by mistake.
I have played first class characters that do not fit the norm. I don't remember what year this was, but Alyssa, which Rachel so lovingly no, Alyssa, that Rachel so lovingly calls Wheels.
My favorite wheels.
That's very mildly insulting, but
Okay.
we'll go. She was an extremely angry first class lady. Without going into too much detail of the story, it's just that it was out of love, yes. But you can take first class and still put a spin on it that makes it interesting and be a character that's not prim and proper. Be the tomboy who doesn't want to be that first class person anymore. Or, be the nouveau riche who, is... Yeah.
And there's a comment here from Gerald. I think the curse of first is we have too many people taking first as being high society that doesn't go outside of their over-the-top portrayal. And I agree, and actually we have more questions based on that later. For me, it doesn't matter really which class I'm playing. It's about the people I'm playing with that make the experience.
That's always true, yeah. So I'll add to this giant pot of feedback we're giving on first class that I think, like, absolutely there is that element of first class that's very high society, but there's also just, like, normal businessmen who just paid a little more for their tickets down on E-Deck and were able to get nice rooms. Like, there's a lot of room for variety in first class, and I think people don't really realize that because they always try and play it like it's Cameron's Titanic, where every single person is just some mega rich, wealthy individual, or, like, again, not to spoil a future question that I can see, but, like, a lot of members of the aristocracy, for example, talk more about that one soon. But I think first class really suffers from a lack of creative diversity that some of the other classes see. And I would just encourage people to maybe try reaching out a little more into different kinds of characters. It's not to say you can't do really well with those characters, but it becomes much harder to overcome all of the other people in that same boat as you. Does Francis think the voyage will ever be handed over to the new generation?
Who's the new generation?
I'm not sure.
No.
Francis,
think-
what do
they'll
you
have-
think?
To pry it
I
from
think-
her cold, dead fingers.
Yeah.
I think we're low key being called old.
Yeah.
Oh God, I think you're right.
I'm not even 30!
It's not low key.
Yeah, me either. I'm not 30.
Mm,
Same.
I will
yeah,
say
you've got
that,
like a child in high school now, right?
like I know, I know that I'm not Francis.
No.
No?
So maybe it's not my place to answer the question since I'm not Francis, but I don't think the voyage is going away if that's what you're worried about. Like, we're committed to keep doing it, and if ever we need more people to help us do that, I'm sure we would try reaching out. Yeah, Francis, I think, said it, hit the nail on the head. Right now, we really work well as a team together. It's like in 100 years, we still see this happening. That's a long time away. I'm not even sure we'll be here in 100 years.
I don't plan to be here in 100 years.
I like Francis's answer. I'm trying to keep up.
Maybe
with
in
both
84
chats.
years.
Someone mentioned the library, so I'll just jump there.
So Francis said she'll be dead, so she won't have any say in the matter.
I'm gonna be alive in 1,000 years. I'm an eldritch horror.
You're not supposed to give that away.
Oh crap! Shit!
Anyway, moving on from that, let's see. So, where did it go? There it is.
What
Sit down
are
with
the
this.
roles of the team, and what do moderators here help the developers in the game? What do the moderators here help the?
Let me read it. You're having a moment with your eldritchness. It says, "What are the roles of the team, and do the moderators here help the developers in the game?"
That's the English.
Yeah, Duchess has done more to help me this year than anyone, and Rachel helped my friend. We all kind of.
That's real specific, Shane.
Well, I'm reading the question.
I see it right.
Verbatim. That is the question.
No,
I
thought this was
Rachel
I thought
is.
this was
Oh, sorry.
I thought this was a sweet question. I'm glad that obviously I can help people. So
Yeah, I'll just say, like, I think all of us try and do stuff to help out where we can. I know a lot of the moderators will try and step in and help us too. And that takes a lot of the pressure off of us to just constantly be helping people, so I really do appreciate that.
The real answer is we're just here to ping Shane until he gives up.
You could just message me and I'll ignore it, and then if you can get to me, I can get to him faster.
Yeah, you can literally smack him for us.
Yeah. I have. I remember Caitlin once asked me because you killed her romance interest to give you a punch, and I did.
I did. No, but I think the moderators here do a lot on the server, and there's mods in game too that aren't in the server, but we all work as a team in one format or the other. So
Yeah, and I think, like, the question kind of touched upon what the roles for people are. Like, we all kind of try and do it all, honestly. we all wear many hats, I guess, is a way
That's
of
our
putting it.
issue, is that we all wear all the hats.
Yeah.
Well, I know that this came up recently that, moderators aren't developers, so we can't help with situations, and that's not necessarily true. I mean, we can't log into the game and change anything for you, but we certainly have the developers' ears, and we can often get things solved a lot faster. Because if we reach out to a developer and say, hey, we've got this issue going on, it's a lot easier than them sorting through 100 DMs trying to find yours.
Yes, exactly. Like, I know it might seem sometimes like I'm ignoring people's DMs. I'm really not. It's a very busy time of year for me, but I usually
I'm also going to tell people, I look at his computer, he has over 3,000 notifications on Discord, and it drives me insane.
No, right now it's like 18, okay?
Oh, no.
So,
Well, if I scroll down more, there's more, but those don't matter.
Yeah, if you scroll, there's still 3,000 of them.
so just recently, I know Rachel and I both had a bunch of DMs. What we did was we took and we compiled a list of all the problems that we couldn't fix. The developers needed to get into the game and fix emails or fix typos or resend emails. So that's what we did to help. Is we handed off like a big list to them, and they sorted it through that way instead of Megan said, going through 1,000 DMs on their own.
Yeah, and like I will eventually get around to answering you. It just might take longer than it would if you just ask one of the moderators for help. I'm not trying to tell you go spam them with all your stuff, but like always feel free to reach out to me. But if I'm not being responsive, then at least know you have that avenue as well.
Also understand that Shane sleeps, guys.
Yeah,
sometimes he does.
What's sleep?
Yeah. Contrary to popular belief, I'm not just always working on the game.
He also has a job.
That's true.
What?
Okay.
A big job.
Okay. Where was I? Here. Okay. All hands on deck.
The pit of despair.
I need to know why. Okay. I need to know why there are always admin characters in the lifeboats each year. Do admins steal seats from other players just to save their own characters? No. If you see an admin in a lifeboat, either we've gotten in there by actually playing the game like you, or I will say we do select some characters to be in boats because, as Remy mentioned earlier, and just from the sake of actually keeping an eye on boats in case there's disputes or situations we need to resolve, we actively help manage aspects of the game from the boats as well, like transferring people into other lifeboats. So we do typically pre-select a small number of people to survive, but they're typically side characters, I would say, that we do that for. I at least try and pick side characters. And importantly, those people do not steal seats. So anyone who gets pre-reserved in that manner, it doesn't take a seat away from anyone. It's counted in the same pool as the historicals, basically, where it doesn't actually take a seat away.
I was actually just about to jump in and say, if you have a historical character, please do not fret over thinking that you may steal someone's seat. It is a completely different system for the historical and reserved characters than it is for the rest of us who are actually trying to get a lifeboat reservation.
Yes, yeah, very good call out. The historicals do not take up seats in the boat. I know we see some misconceptions about that sometimes. You're not stealing anyone's seat, and they didn't steal one from you. It's the same number of seats every time, and people who are not pre-reserved can all fight each other over their seats. So if you don't get in, blame the people around you, not the historicals. Are crew survival rates factored by gender and job? By gender, yes. By job, no. Is the easy answer to that one. Ooh, here's one I like. Is it against the rules to kill anyone before the ship starts sinking? Every year there seem to be gunfights or poisonings happening in the lounge. There
is no rule against it, but as I said back in the God modding question, as long as there's consent.
But I will say, don't do it in like the lounge, like the question itself mentions. That's not going to go over well with people in the lounge, and they will not take you seriously. Let me just put it.
Also, from experience, make sure that everybody in your collab party is aware that the murder is going to happen.
Yes, very important. Do not try and kill a character without telling other people. It will not surprise them. It will throw them off and potentially cause chaos and almost ruin your entire collab you spent a year building up.
Yeah. This will be a fun surprise. It was not a fun surprise.
I'm sorry, Kelly. I know that was directed at me, but
No, I'm talking
No.
about I'm talking about the one where I was Shannon.
oh, I thought we were talking about Saphira. But
No.
expand on.
Oh no, that
I wanted
one
to
was
expand
fine.
on
That
that.
one was fine.
No, that one was good. I loved that one.
I wanted to expand on that, going back to God modding it. If you see something happening, like a murder or shooting or poisoning or something like that, in our case, it's when we were playing the game, my character was dying, and it was planned, at least between me and one other person. Nobody else knew about it. But if you see that, don't try to make a huge scene in case it is part of a planned consent collab, because then you end up ruining somebody's experience too. So if you're really concerned, report it or out of character it, but don't try to intervene.
you can message one of the two parties and be like, "Hey, is this an open role play, or are you kind of putting out a scene?" Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you're
because
not sure.
during our scene, it became, and when we did the scene in the cargo hold, so we had a bunch of people coming in from the global chat trying to intervene, and it was ultimately ruining the experience. So if you see something, try not to intervene until you know that it's not consent or something like that.
I still have to say, the knife in the back was my favorite scene, probably ever.
It was great. Yeah, I'm gonna add to this since we said don't do it, but now we're talking about an unplanned death that was great. In my mind, the key difference, this unplanned death that was sprung on all of us in this collab, that the one that actually worked, happened literally like 5 minutes before the ship sank. And the other one that we sprung on people that did not go over so well, we did on like April 13th at the beginning of the day, basically. And everyone was just like, well, now what am I going to do? Because we're just going to be sad for the next 2 days. And It was really, really, it changed the whole tone of the role play. Just don't do it. Like, it's not really a good reason to depress yourselves 2 days early. I mean, I don't know. Unless all of you plan it, of course. If all of you plan it, then go for it. Someone, before I get back to the list, I saw someone had a very good question. They asked if the ship's going to sink. So I'm going to confront the animation to see real quick.
No, it's a spoiler! You can't give it away!
Yeah.
I think the ship's going to be fine. I think it's going to recover.
I think 1 year we should just not think and mess with everything.
Yeah.
Or do the we had with like either the goose or the helping grace or the train.
Where was I? Okay, here. Oh. Can Shane confirm if Billy Zane's really playing? My friend told me he signed up as a character. No, we have no confirmation either way.
I will take the helm on this one, since I was the lucky duck who actually got to pay the money. And first off, I will say that talking to Billy Zane was a thrill of a lifetime. And if you haven't seen the Q&A session, it is on the Titanic Voyage YouTube channel. Go and watch it. It's a hoot, especially when Billy turns the tables and starts questioning me about Titanic Voyage. He completely flipped the table on that one. That was the last I heard from him. I will be completely honest. He has not gotten in contact, and part of that is because he is actually filming, I think, either a movie or a TV show, and is in the middle of trying to do press and film and all of that. So he has been incredibly busy. So I can tell you with 100% certainty, and no, I am not making this up, he is not on the voyage this year.
Yeah. So, yeah, I know there was some excitement around the possibility of that, but he's a very busy guy, so unfortunate, but not exactly unexpected.
Would it have been awesome? Yeah, it would. Did I ever think there was a chance in heck of it happening? No, I did not.
Yeah, neither did I. I think someone asked about this earlier. When's the hell chat coming for the padded room occupants? This is an idea that's been floating around recently where it would basically be like jail for people even after they die, so they don't just get to go into the heaven chat. It would be hell, essentially, where all the bad people go, and I don't know. The heaven chat honestly doesn't seem to get used that much.
Is that even something that you want to deal with, considering that during the sinking, the padded room was just people screaming, "Let me out, let me out, let me out"?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I really don't think it's necessary. It's a funny idea for sure. And maybe some year if we ever like expand heaven, I don't know how we would do that.
I imagine it could also give some of the trolls more of a more of a I know, I feel like they could feel like they could get away with a lot in a hell chat, and that would be concerning to see all that they type, even though nobody would care at that point because the characters are dead, but still, it would, yeah.
Yeah, that's very true,
about
too.
containing that many, trolls in one location.
Yeah, it could become bad very quickly, yeah.
Put all the trolls in one place.
Okay, here we go. I've seen this one for a little bit now. It says, this is not a question, but a plea for all players of the game. Start making more interesting first-class characters. First class should not consist of half of the aristocracy. Get more creative, please. And that kind of just ties back to what I had said earlier, where it seems like we see the same kinds of characters in first class all the time. It's very hard to differentiate your character if you're all just doing the same kind of stories, basically. I don't know how else to put it. I agree with this sentiment. I would like to see more diversity, and there is plenty of diversity. It's just there's a lot of non-diversity as well in first class. Yeah, aristocracy absolutely can be interesting, someone says. I agree. It can be very well done. It can be very interesting. It just gets a little weird when you see, like, 80 lords and ladies on board. Can I even... give me a moment. I'm doing just very on the fly. What's the next question? Let me do that while I'm doing this. Can we ban royalty? Just outright royalty? Probably no. Like
One of my favorite things, though, was it King George or someone doing surgery on...
That was very silly. I remember that.
Wasn't it him getting surgery because he was
No,
shot?
no, he was performing surgery on... Is it Tom? Was it Tom or Todd?
Tommy.
Tommy? Yeah, it was Tommy. That's the collab that didn't go well because the attempted murder that was not approved by the whole collab group.
Life-saving surgery on him on April 13th, yeah.
Yeah.
The king
was helping. He was like, I know how to do surgery.
Let's do this as well, I guess. Sorry, I've almost got it. So, okay, yeah, here we go. So, I searched for the number of characters with titles like Lord, Lady, Duke, Duchess, etc. Just all the common ones I could think of. And the total number that I see with my very quick and dirty search is 102. Like that's very high
Jeez.
considering that's 1/15 of the passenger list is some form of member of the aristocracy. That's what I mean.
That's like more than there probably actually was.
Way, way more. Yeah. Like imagine if like if that much of the passenger list was all just like a teacher from Harvard or something. Like it's kind of the same thing to me. Like it's very hard for your story to stand out when it's such a huge pool of people in the same kind of general boat like that. Yeah, in real life it was 1.3%, someone says. 3 nobles on board. Someone else says. So yeah, there's oh, I didn't do sir. Sir, yeah.
Did you do like mademoiselle and things?
No, there's.
Well, that's actually not aristocracy, is it? That's just.
Oh my
What
god!
is the
Wait, adding in sir brought it up to 152.
Oh, jeez.
Like you
What
see
is
what
the
I mean? That there is a huge pool.
What is the French aristocracy? I forget. It's not mademoiselle. It's
I don't even know.
mademoiselle is just lady, but not like low noble lady. That's just like miss lady.
Yeah. Dang, it's at least 152. There's gonna be more than that, really.
Oh, here it is. I'm
That's
getting. I'm
huge.
getting my French lesson. Someone's giving me French lessons.
But anyway, yeah. Just if you're considering next or any future year, like, just I don't know. And could I even? Sorry, I'm like going way off just on this rabbit hole now. Yeah, half of those number are also in first class too, which is a lot. So that's you get what I'm saying. Also, why would a lord, a lady, a sir, whatever, why would any of them be in like third class? I see that a lot too. It doesn't make sense. But anyway.
I love all their bios are always like couldn't get a ticket in first class.
Oh no, I'm not searching for them all. This isn't going to turn into a detective hunt. Oh no, I'll add Baron as well.
Oh yeah, you have like Earl and Viscount as well.
Yeah, Baron, Earl.
Marquis.
Does anyone else have any other questions? Like, I think we're at the end of the list now. So while I'm expanding this search.
There's a few in the mod chat that we've been
You in the
copying
mod
pasting
chat?
over. Yeah.
I shall go read them to you. Uh, wait, hold on. Have you all ever considered opening a donation-based system for allocating cabins and characters? Example, I want to play... Is that Colonel? Colonel Gracie, here's $20 to help fund the RPG and secure my place. I know that people have talked about before about, like, doing, like, a GoFundMe and stuff or whatever, or even just, like, a yearly... Here's a gift card for the developers or whatever, and we have all before said that we don't want that because this is more of a passion project and a hobby, and that would make it seem more like a job then, and we don't want that. We don't want it to become something that we do for money. I don't know if that's still how everybody feels, but I know that last we had discussed it, that was how we all felt.
Yeah. And I don't think we've really talked about it since. So if we ever were going to consider that, we'd have to just talk it through and talk about the implications. I think the biggest one is potentially like copyright. I mean, we have a lot of materials that technically aren't ours, I guess. I don't think there's any harm in saying that, but we're a free project, and because of that, a free project that only runs once a year, and we're not like widely distributing any of this stuff. So because of that, I think we can get away with a lot. But if we start bringing money into the equation, that just opens up the possibility of risk. And the idea is not bad, but yeah, we'd have to really think it through first.
Not to mention access. I don't think we would want to limit anybody's ability to play the game based on their inability to financially afford it.
That makes it very much like like microtransaction-y, and we don't like that.
No, we don't. Okay, I got it. My final count, I'm not going to expand it anymore. I've thrown in like everything I could think of. I see 176. So that's almost 2/15 of the passenger list, practically. So this is what I mean when I say that I think it's a very overdone kind of storyline. Is there room for interesting stories in there? Absolutely. I'm sure a lot of those characters are actually very well thought out. I'm sure they'll be great, but it's just very hard to stand out in a pool like that. Did I just hear screaming, someone asks?
I hope not.
I see a question that we grabbed from YouTube. If I'm playing a first-class passenger and I book a second-class ticket and I'm playing a historic person, will I be put in the lifeboat? Let me say this for everyone who is playing a historic character. If you are playing a historic character and you have not gotten your badge yet, you need to message the Facebook page ASAP so we can get that taken care of. The other thing is if you don't have your badge, you also need to let us know either A, what lifeboat your character landed in if they survived, or B, you need to let us know that they didn't survive, so that way we can put you, I hate saying it this way, on the ban list, so that way you can't get into a lifeboat and survive.
Yeah, we'll ban you from the boat.
I'd like to also say there's been a lot of historicals this year, more than I've ever seen before, and I discourage people from registering as historicals for the main purpose just to survive, because that's not really fair.
For example, next year, my friend Jamie, who I am really good friends with, he and I are taking on the Strausses for the sole purpose of playing the Strausses, and fully knowing how that story ends. So if you're in it because you have a favorite historical person who was on the Titanic, by all means, please do that. But if you are registering a historical for the sole purpose of the fact that they landed in a lifeboat, please kind of stray away from that. Do the historical characters because you want to, not because of their live or die factor.
Yeah, and again,
I've already pre-booked C55 for next year. No, I'm kidding.
Again, like in the chat saying that, like, you know, also you should kind of respect the historical characters because these were actual people doing, you know, either not making it or making it, and, you know, I would much prefer you handle them with a lot more care than you would your own character.
Yeah, I always get
nervous. I was gonna say, if you
go ahead.
I'm sorry. If you plan to play historical or even critical crew, I would very much encourage research.
Oh yeah, that's like a must.
Well, the big thing that I find is that historicals are harder to play than your made-up fictional characters because, especially once you get to the sinking and you start having documentation of this person was here and this person did that from various sources, then that's when you really do have to start sticking to that timeline. You don't get a whole lot of wiggle room when, for the Strausses, I forget what boat they were on, but that, that Isidore and Ida were both at that boat, and Ida gets, the ability to board, and she says no, and then Isidore says, well, you can go with your wife, and he goes, absolutely not, and then they stay on the boat deck and die. Well, next year I have to stick to that. I don't have any wiggle room to try and go against that. So if you're going to play a historical, make sure, one, that you've done your research. Two, don't do it just for the fact that they survive. And three, be prepared, because it's hard. It is really hard.
Yeah, I don't. Historicals are stressful to me.
I could never do a historical.
Yeah.
I'd be so scared of doing it justice that I wouldn't be able to have fun with it at all.
Well, and I think it should be mentioned that historically badged characters are not immune from being thrown in jail for acting like dummies.
Oh yeah, just because you're historical doesn't mean you'll be given a pass for everything. Like, if anything, you'll be judged even more scrutiny than normal people. In fact,
will there be a chat box outage when the lights flicker this year? I don't think we've ever had chat box outage. I'm thinking about last year when the chat box went down several times.
I remember. So stuff like that isn't planned on. I want to say no, of course not, but things can happen. Just know that we always try and do everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen. So hopefully not.
Really quick though, before we move on, just because I have to go play D&D in a moment, I doubt it, but if there are any burning questions for me in either chat, let me know, and I will answer them as quickly as I can, and then I have to go.
What was the inspiration for the goose?
I like animals, and I wanted to be one, and I saw Goose game and said I like this game, and honk.
Fair enough.
We literally talked about this earlier today. What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is purple. I love you. I don't love you as much as Shane, but I love you.
Thanks.
Like this one. Do you think there will ever be plans to split up public spaces in the same way the dining saloons have been?
I've thought about that. I would prefer to find other ways to split rooms up without breaking them up into a bunch of sections. That's all I'll say on that for now. Look forward to the future, hopefully, if we can do it.
I do like
Goose,
possums.
do you... I was just going to say, I was reading that one for you.
Yes, I do like possums. I actually, one day, I hope they're called short-tailed possums. They're like little bitty ones. They're so cute. I want one day.
The person who asked that knows that possums freak me out, so...
Oh. They're so cute, though. Why?
Because they're vicious.
No, they aren't.
I have a ton of possums that live on my property, and
They can't get rabies.
They're gross.
I had one that liked to come up on my old porch all the time and just chill, and I'm like, no, you need to go.
I had one. We heard a weird sound at our front door once, and I opened it, and there was just a possum looking there, and it was like, hi.
Oh, wait, stop. This is a good one for you, I think, because I think you've talked about it before. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Okay.
Someone asked me, do you have any tips on playing characters with, like, schizophrenia or other mental illnesses?
Yes. So, the big thing, same as historicals, do as much research as possible into that mental illness. You don't want to just have, oh, this person is crazy, I'm gonna have them go paint a wall randomly, woohoo! You want to most accurately portray it as possible in a respectful manner. Yes, including PTSD, because I, as someone who has quite a few mental illness things, including PTSD, like, I don't want to say like I get triggered, because that's not how I feel. But it is a little bit like, when I see people like, oh, my character has PTSD, and then they completely act how I know, like, that's not. I don't also want to be like, oh, I'm better because I have PTSD. Like, I know everybody handles things differently, but there are certain things that isn't how you would handle that sort of situation in any sort of manner.
Yeah, and to anyone who does actually have the conditions or whatever you're trying to portray, if they see you portraying it very wrongly, they might take offense at it even. So it's just
That's very true.
touchy.
I was just gonna say, as somebody else with PTSD, I don't get triggered by somebody playing it. I feel that you need to be respectful because it is a very real thing.
That's more me. It's that I don't get like, I'm not like up in arms like, oh, I'm gonna fight you or anything. It's just, it's very like deep sigh, like But for more serious things, like I have narcolepsy is one of my big things, is that like a lot of people oftentimes misportray narcolepsy as, oh, I've suddenly fallen asleep randomly while standing, haha. And like, that's not what narcolepsy is at its core. And so that's one of those things, or like people are like, oh, I fell asleep so fast the other day, haha, I must have narcolepsy. And it's like, no, it's a really serious disorder that has a lot of things going on with it, and it's more than that. Like, if you're going to play someone with a serious disorder like that, or schizophrenia, or any various sort of things, any sort of disorder or handicap, or anything that could be considered atypical, abnormal, etc., please do your research and try to do it respectfully, because it, like I think Shane just said, if someone is looking at that and they have that, and you could very easily hurt their feelings or really offend them. And there are some situations where someone might be very self-conscious about their issues, and if they see someone making light of it, or
if they perceive it as like mocking it almost.
Yeah, mocking it, making fun, even if you don't mean it that way, it can still really hurt somebody. And we as a community, I think, strive to not do that. So I would just ask that if you are going to tackle these deeper, darker subjects, that you do your research, and you just try, don't throw it out in everybody's faces as well. Don't be like, schizophrenia, schizophrenia, schizophrenia. Just make it as subtle as possible, giving out small hints. Don't make it the subject of your character, because as someone with mental illness as well, that is not who I am. It's a part of me, but it is not all of me. And that should be how you play it for your character as well. That it's something that shows up every now and then about them, but it is not them.
I keep forgetting that Daniel's wearing a kimono, and it keeps making me laugh. Yeah, I think it's time for you to go now, right?
Yes, I do have to go play D&D.
Okay.
So, I will see you all. Oh yes, Hatter, real fast. Hatter wasn't a great example of that, because he had mercury poisoning, and that was one of my characters. And so I had to, and I very subtly showed that. That was just one of my things, is that I think that people really liked that, is that he was his own character that I then subtly showed his issues with life in just brief moments of, if you know anything about mercury poisoning, it can accelerate tempers and those other things. But like, I would have him suddenly grow really aggressive for a moment, then like back off and be like, I'm so sorry, like I didn't mean that. But yeah, exactly. So it was very subtle, and it never grew overwhelming. And so that's like a really good way to portray it. And like, most people could tell, like, they're like, there's something going on with him, but I can't tell what it is. And, like, that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted people to get a taste of, like, there's something going on here. But I didn't want them to immediately be like, there's something, hey, there's something wrong with him. And so that's, like, what you kind of want to aim for with this. And now I do have to go because there are people joining my D&D Discord server. So I love you all.
See you in
Bye-bye.
a few 11 days.
I'll see you in 11 days. God, I swear, I'm still in October. I'm like, it's gonna be a while, right?
11 days. See you then.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you then.
See ya.
Have fun, Kelly.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
I'm willing to keep
I thought
going a little
April
more.
was. Oh, I thought April was in a week. Anyways, continue.
Yeah. It does feel like it's a week away. I feel that too.
Yeah.
It's so weird. But anyway, yeah. I'm willing to keep going a bit more if there's still some questions. I see someone ask, like, are there any new rules for this year? I don't think so, really, other than we're being a little more strict with the characters we're deleting now. As you may have noticed.
Sorry, get it.
No, I'm done.
It just as far as the server goes, we'll be making an announcement as far as moderation goes for like during the voyage in how it's going to be in the server regarding slow mode changes and whatnot. So yeah, that will be updated.
Yes, I think I've said it before, but the idea is that the server won't be the primary place that you play, basically.
I see somebody on YouTube asking what the Titanic RPG Facebook group is, and that's a different from the official page, but it's a page made for people to post their backstories and continue writing stories after the voyage if you survive, and posting aftermath. So it's a really fun place to be. I really suggest you check it out. And if you have any questions about writing or are afraid to start writing for your character, there's a lot of great people there to help you out. We love helping people come into their characters.
Someone asked any tips on playing shy characters. That's a very good one. I played a character who was kind of shy once, and it can be difficult because obviously if they're shy, they don't really talk to people much. I kind of played them as like always just sitting in the room and just looking around at people, and you can have them kind of accidentally interact with people too to get them talking to people, like just accidentally bump into someone in a doorway or accidentally drop something and like scramble for it and see if anyone comes to help you or stuff like that. You can come up with creative ways to get people talking to you as a shy character.
Yeah, in a similar way in 2020. I think 2020. Yeah, 2020. I was some character who I was the character Norman Blake, who was very introverted as far as many of the characters went, but I feel like having him being, well, in this term, he was basically a type of character who was open to contact with anybody who would contact with him, but he never initiated. So I can see how sometimes that can be difficult, but as someone else said, it was a good point that try and get the attention of someone extroverted, that being around people who, as someone who is introverted, I find it like helps when there's kind of a conflicting type of person who can kind of like help the shy character open up. So yeah, I feel like having his surroundings can help kind of have that or enter that character into association with others.
The kimono, God. Sorry, I'm kind of catching up. Someone asked why I don't have at least 10k subs. I don't know. Go subscribe to my channel. Probably because I'm not like a major YouTuber, honestly. I mostly just do streams around the game. But people apparently like the sound of my voice, I guess. So.
You're one away from 500. Oh, you're 502 now. That's cool. Congrats.
Shane and Andrew both have ASMR voices. They should be on radio.
Why does Daniel's character have a kimono? Because I was showing off how to wear clothing images earlier, and the kimono was like one of the first images that came up. So now he's wearing it for the rest of the stream.
Beautiful.
I say you leave it that way so that when he logs into the game in 11 days, he just is wearing a kimono.
Yeah.
I should find some way to...
Josh asked a good question. Have you any of us ever met anyone from the game in real life? I have. I know that Megan and Rachel were really good friends before the game even began, so.
Oh, yeah. Rachel and I went to middle school together, so fun fact,
Wow.
we've known each other literally forever. And
Cool.
we frequently actually go and dress up in historical costumes and just be fancy and drink champagne, so we're awesome. It's okay to be jealous.
I like, someone asks, is there a process of reporting historicals who aren't doing it properly? If you have any like real offense with how someone's portraying a historical, I'd say just report them through the same way you'd report anyone. Either go to a moderator about it, in-game moderator, I should specify again, or just use the report feature here and submit a report about them. Just write up what they're doing that you think's wrong. Also, in reference to the meeting people question, no, I have not yet met anyone outside of the game.
No, Josh, I am not Rachel.
Rachel's everybody and nobody. She's everywhere.
That is not the first time that that's happened, Josh.
Yeah, who even is Rachel? I don't
It-
even...
We get confused for each other way too often.
Yeah.
It's because Rachel is a Salem era witch.
I actually remember that happening with someone else. I can't remember who. Like someone.
I thought I
else.
was a vampire, DJ.
I can't remember who someone thought you were, Megan, but they brought up like some other completely different admin, thinking that was you.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Apparently I wasn't there for that. So somebody said I still don't know how to refer to half the people here. I think everybody in the server is pretty okay if you just refer to them as their whatever their nickname is in the server. If people call me Eiley, I don't get offended that it's not my real name. It's my character name for now, and I'll gladly go by it. I went as Ophelia for a long time, so it is what it is. I don't think anybody gets offended.
I actually saw on YouTube, going back to the have you ever met people from the game, somebody joined because of their fiance, and now they have a bunch of friends, and they met up in Texas. And this reminded me that we actually had engagements happen because of Titanic Voyage, which is an amazing story we like to tell. I think Sean's here in the chat. Him and his fiance Pia met from Titanic Voyage. Don't tell me to shh.
Yeah, at least one engagement, I think. I don't know if there's been more, but we know at least of one for sure that we know of. So, yeah, that's really cool. Someone asked why is the banner on the site page 2010 to 2021? Because the 2022 voyage hasn't happened yet. That's why.
Josh, I was there in Florida. Yes, I was there.
Wait, who said Florida?
There was a meetup.
Josh in the chat's bringing up a meetup, and I was one of the people that went there. I was actually there with Sean's fiance as well, too. So.
Oh. I was just
The goose
someone
was here, I know.
as someone from Florida, stay away from Florida.
How am I able to play the game like right now? Because I'm a developer.
Andrew, we discussed this. You're close to the big panel that Rose was on, so you have to go see it.
Oh
'cause
yeah,
it's in
that's true.
Florida.
Yeah, I have to do. I'll do that before I get out of Florida. That'll be my last stop,
There's the kimono.
and
again.
I'll drive into the sunset.
Where is it? That panel is right here. On the lounge at night, at least, image 10. It's the panel over the door right under info and games. I mean, I guess technically it would be the one on the other side of the room, but... Yeah, here, okay. Image 16, it's the panel above the door right under the first class lounge logo. Right there. Right there's the panel. Yeah, light it on fire. If there's going to be a riot in game this year, I respectfully request people to burn the lounge to the ground this time. I think it's high time that it got burned. Sink the lifeboats. What's this? Where will high society gossip if the lounge is gone? It's called the reception room on D-Deck.
As long as nobody touches Shane's second-class library, he will come in with you.
Yeah, you will be banned from the game. No, I'm kidding.
You'll be IP man.
You'll never
I
come
was
back.
just about to say that.
Yeah, I see some people mentioning like the story chapters that go up on the Facebook group. Don't be afraid to try that. Even if you don't think you're a great writer, everyone there is very supportive. And I know there's also a channel in Discord for it.
I remember in 2019 when I first started, and it was I was very nervous of posting anything in there, but I think I reached out to like any moderator I saw online, and I think it was Caitlin, and she said, yeah, don't worry about it, just post it. And I think that so basically it's very welcoming. Everybody's very welcoming about no matter what level of a writer you are. They just want to hear your story.
Yeah, we try to, and we have a very strict no bullying policy. If somebody asks for creative criticism, but there's absolutely no bullying on there. So it's a very, very good group.
Also, don't be afraid to not be a part of that group and don't feel pressured to like write chapters and chapters if you don't feel like you're a writer. I am a writer. I have a writing degree, in fact, but I don't pre-plan my RPs. I improv everything. I mean, I come and I start with a basic character and a name and just a quick background story, and then I improv everything else, and that's the way I like to do it. So don't feel like you have to write an entire book for your character, but if you want to try it, definitely do that.
I like somebody.
Am.
Go ahead, Rachel. I'm sorry.
I personally am in the boat of improving. I will come with like a very bare bones timeline, or not even a timeline, because it's an outline, I guess, of who my person is and like what kind of things I would like to accomplish. Whether or not I actually do it or not is up for debate. I don't know. I don't like having a plan.
Yeah, I will say
fair. And a lot of people just post their bios or just very bare bones description. Some people don't post anything. There's lots of secret characters every year. But a lot of people, like I know Shane and I, we write a lot. So
yeah, always.
And it's fun to read other people's stories too. So.
Okay, so I see two questions I want to ask, but right before that, I will say, what was it? It was in regards to. You just said something and it just triggered a thought, and now I'm forgetting it. Yeah, okay, yeah, I remember. So my approach that I take is I will typically have like one event sort of plan that I want to happen on board. I don't know when it will happen. I don't know who will be involved in it really, aside from like anyone who's absolutely required for the story. but I'll just have that in mind, and then I'll try and work my entire time on board up to that one event. So like I'll know that this is going to happen eventually. I don't know where, don't know when, don't know how, but I'm going to try and work towards it, and then when it seems like it's the right time for it, I'll spring it. And that's my approach, and I'd like that because it's very flexible, and you have a lot of creative freedom then over who's there and when it happens. So I see some people doing like strict timelines, and that's not really a bad approach. It's just a little more stressful, I find. Hell's Kitchen.
There's some more questions on YouTube.
Yeah. So someone there asked, I see, are we going to do other games like besides Snakes and Ladders, chess, etc.? Yeah, we've got ideas for more that I would like to add. I think as we get further and further in the game's lifespan, more interactive things like the games will be beneficial for people. Someone asked if there'll ever be things like Lusitania Voyage or Titanic Voyage. Probably not by us, I'll say. I think we're pretty content just with this, and part of the appeal of what makes it special is it only comes once a year, and if we start loading up the year with a ton of other voyages, I think it would start to go a little stale. And you lose some of that creativity that you can pour into this experience once a year.
And to expand on that, there's plenty of Discord RPs to get you through the year too.
Oh yeah, those are fun.
Sometimes
I think
they're more fun.
They can be. Yeah, the settings in them are very different sometimes, and I'm a fan. I like doing those now, and the people who run them are usually pretty good at doing that. So.
Josh has a question for you, Shane.
Yes.
He wants
Where?
to know if he can make a character to join the Hell's Kitchen Seabound.
I don't want the contestants to become like too flooded with a ton of people, but I can't say no really either. So I'll leave it to your own discretion, but just if we have like 90 people trying to cook, that's obviously not going to be doable.
Someone asked if they could appeal their Discord ban. I would say that is on a case-by-case basis, and it depends
Alexa,
on the
turn on
situation. Got you banned, but we can't say yes, and we cannot say no. It's case by case. I don't think historically there has been anyone who has been unbanned from the server. Don't think. Andrew, do you have more to expand on that?
Yeah, there has been one case where we went through the process with, I can't quite remember who, but this was someone who, like, I think we all came to the conclusion that this person was just like, it was a long time ago, and it was a third warning. There is kind of a different, usually if someone is banned before they reach the third warning mark, then that's going to be more difficult because they were banned for a reason that was pretty severe if they didn't just get a warning for that. But yeah, it also just depends on the case by case basis. That we have kind of a unwritten policy that like if you're banned, then you won't be able to repeal that ban for at the very least 6 months, or you won't be able to apply for it.
I'd like to add that I think a lot of people think we just click the ban button like crazy, and we're really not those kind of moderators. Like, we're not here to ban people frivolously. We really want this to be a space where people can feel comfortable. I think we're all in agreement that we're all weirdos who are really into Titanic to the point that we want to role play this tragedy every year. And there's people from all different backgrounds and walks of life that play this game, and we really want it to be inclusive. And if you're going to be the kind of person that comes into the server and disrupts that and really shows that you don't have respect for the people who are in it, then yeah, You're going to be punished and eventually banned for that. And, it's not just because we're power hungry mods or anything like that. It's really
No.
because we want it to be a good place where everybody has a good time.
Exactly. And I will say, I have been told multiple times by multiple people that a lot of people are afraid of me specifically, not like the mods. Well, some of you are afraid of other mods, but I've been told that people are afraid of me, and I promise I'm not scary. I'm a nice person until you piss me off, you break the rules. There's been times where I have snapped because someone has asked me for the 5th millionth time the same question. You guys got to give us a little leeway. We do get asked the same thing when you could just very easily
All the
click
time.
rules. But it's all, Josh, stop it. There's all sorts of, like, there's rules, and we all follow them. The mods follow them, devs follow them, Andrew follows them. We all just want to be one big happy weirdo family. Well, Francis, we all know you don't follow them.
Of course, she's above the rules.
And people, I know Shane has said this, people have to understand that every mod and every developer, we have jobs, we have lives, we have kids, we have a lot of responsibilities, and then we come home and our free time, especially now this time of year, is dedicated all to the server and the game, and we get very tired, we get irritable sometimes, but we promise we're going to get to questions, we're going to get, we see everything, we're going to get to your questions, we're going to get to your concerns, but spamming and tagging and just kind of being rude is not going to help anything.
No, it's not.
And also understand that arguing with a mod is never the best course of action.
Yes, this is a good point.
I guess
There's that. Sorry,
I'm willing to have a civil conversation about what was happening or why you were muted or something like that, but coming in aggressive and just outright arguing with a mod is not going to help your situation at all. So
yeah, and that specifically goes against Rule 3, which is be respectful to staff. If you have an issue with one of the moderators, do not argue about it in the server. Contact us in a civil manner so we can sort it out. So you can have a discussion with the mod, but don't go in as the aggressor thinking that the mods are the bad guys. They're just people with lives, and they're just trying.
And we do understand that there is a language barrier for some of you guys, and as long as you come up, like, if we don't understand or we're taking something you're saying the wrong way because English is not your first language, then just explain that to us and we'll be a heck of a lot more understanding.
Well, and I think I have only been on Discord since 2020, and I only joined it to join this server. So, but I teach high school, and I've learned from several of my students that Discord is often a very icky place to be, and that there are a lot of power-hungry mods out there, and there are a lot of servers where moderators are specifically, just power-hungry and out to get server members and really just being awful people. And I will say that we really endeavor to make the Titanic Voyage server not like that at all. Like I said, we want to be inclusive, but also all of our moderators are adults. We all have adult experiences, and we come at things with a little bit of life experience, and we might sound like your mom a lot of the time because we are kind of but please don't think that this server is like the other servers that you're on in Discord, because I've heard it's very toxic, and we really don't want that to be our server.
Just like on the Facebook page, which I help run, each space we want to be safe, and I think maybe we're a little bit more strict on Discord because it's a real-time conversation mentioning happening, whereas on Facebook, when you post a story, it could be hours before it's seen or commented on. And when you leave a comment, the chances that a mod is going to see it before anybody else does is very higher. So we can intervene if we need to. But in Discord, it gets kind of chaotic very fast. So.
Yeah, it definitely can.
There was a question on YouTube. It said, what do I teach in high school? I teach theater. I also was an English teacher, so yes, I am the mod that will correct your grammar and punctuation in the server. So just get used to it.
I cannot imagine 9 and 10-year-olds on Discord.
Andrew, are you on the YouTube chat by chance?
Oh, yes, I am now.
Somebody wants to ask if they can appeal the same person's asking if they could message you about the ban.
Oh, okay, I'll send my user. 1 second. You could just add me and then I'll accept you and we'll be able to talk.
Let's see. It seems like things are starting to slow down a little, so I'm probably going to say if you have any other questions you really want answered, we'll probably be stopping shortly. We've been doing it for a while now. So feel free to ask away.
It's been a lot longer than I thought it would.
Yeah, I know.
I've already changed the Q&A name.
Oh, really? Oh, you did? How did I not see that?
Wait, hang on.
You didn't change it to your face claim again, did you?
Oh, not yet. Nope. Not yet.
Not yet.
James gotta go play Shiprat pretty soon here.
I do actually have one image I need to go fix that I found earlier. I think I'll make a very general and maybe sort of mysterious statement, but I can already I know people really like talking about historical accuracy and stuff, and I can already anticipate something. So I'm just going to say that a lot of the in-game images, like these room images, are meant to help set a scene. You know, they're not necessarily meant to be 100% accurate to anything. I mean, a lot of these honor and glory images are still missing details and such, for example. Just keep that in mind. Like all the room images and stuff, a lot of things. There's always going to be some stuff that's not perfectly accurate, and the intention isn't necessarily to make everything in game 100% historically accurate. So sometimes it's there just to help sell the scene, and I would hope that people don't obsess over things that might not be completely accurate, like down to the minute and stuff like that.
It's movie magic, people.
Yeah, use your imagination for a lot of it.
Becca asked if we have time, what was your favorite year story you did on Titanic Voyage?
Oh, God.
I know mine.
Yeah, I need to think for a minute, but you guys can go first.
There's only one that really sticks out to me as like a story that is my personal proudest story that I've ever written, and it's my story of last year, Elsa McDowell, and I like that story. I first of all wrote like 20 chapters for it, which is the most chapters I've ever written for a story. But then when it actually started to unfold and she started to meet these random characters who I didn't know their players, it all of a sudden started working out better than I could have hoped, because there were some like links that formed between her and other characters that I had never planned for her to form, but they just did naturally, and I was so happy with that.
I will argue that mine was 2020. I played Ophelia Kinsley, and Rachel was my sister. The Kinsley sisters were really, really fun to play. We had a blast, and we ended up playing with other people we had never met before. That's how I met Andrew, and that's how we met a couple other people. We had Cyril and Andrew Cole and Norman's character, and it was just really a really fun year to play and get really deeply involved with it. I think what helped with that was that we were all in quarantine, and so we could all spend an awful lot of time on the ship. We didn't have the normal everyday sort of interruptions that we have to deal with every other year. So that was my favorite, but every year kind of ends up being my favorite because I really get invested in my character and the relationships that my character makes. So, every year is kind of great.
I do agree with that. I feel like 2020 is tied. I feel like every year ends up being tied for different reasons, kind of.
Every year leaves an impact on me. I can't say I have an overall favorite. I have favorites for different reasons. Like Saphira, I think was my favorite collab. Big collab. Roshin last year was very, very fun. I think the best story that wasn't subjected to just, confined to just my group. I think that spread out through a whole range of people was the wolves I played with Shane, because we broke a lot of hearts that year.
They were very good. Okay.
Oh yes, and Hofbauer, Dr. Hofbauer, ended up marrying Rachel's character in the aftermath, Alice Kinsley. So that was fun.
I had so much fun playing them in the Discord one. Except for it really wasn't Alice, but it.
No, and Discord is good. Discord role plays are good because I feel like they're not as strict. We can really goof around and play around in different Discord servers. But that was fun too.
It's really hard to pick a favorite. I think, like everyone said, every year I have a character I really like. I think if I judge in terms of the one that affected me emotionally the most, I think it was 2 years ago. I did Ferris Hawk down in second class, and that story really affected me deeply. I was crying for many days afterwards. But I'd also probably, like, every year I have at least one character I could list off, like the Wolves, Nathaniel Montrose was really fun. Yusuke was a lot of fun. There's a lot of characters. Like, every year I have at least one that really, really meshes well with me. Casimir, yeah, there's just a lot of them. So it's really hard to just pick one. Cruella de Vil was a lot of fun to watch. Someone mentioned that.
Oh, I will add that I had a blast playing. Was it last year? I was moaning Myrtle and I harassed Tom Linsky, and that was really fun.
Yeah, Tom was interesting to play.
Linsky's now a legend. It's amazing.
I know. Speaking of him, he will be on board again for a limited engagement this year. Look forward to it.
Oh no.
Any more critical crew been filled since you made the announcement?
I don't believe so. I haven't actually looked yet. I know we've gotten some more applications though, at least, which is good.
I did just remember, it's not like it had nothing to do with any story I wrote, but it was my all-time probably one, and like at least one of my top 5 favorite moments ever in this entire game. Which was 2019 when I was playing Murdoch and he was making his rounds and he walked into 2 Russian priests getting ready for a fist fight, and it was just a glorious moment to see them like try to compose themselves in front of a officer who just all of a sudden showed up. That was the best thing I've seen. And I had the translator, but they were typing in Russian, so I didn't understand. Then when I like had the app translated, I was just like, this is my favorite game.
That's awesome.
Not seeing any more questions as much as just statements now.
Yeah, same. I'm fine with that.
Andrew, can you look at the mod chat, please?
Let's see, discussing, yeah. Favorite moments. I don't know if I really have a favorite moment.
It was you throwing the knife into
Yeah,
Maurice's back for me.
That probably is my favorite too. That was awesome.
I liked the surprise that I gave you because like Shane is very, very good at surprising me every year. As much as we work together and as much as we talk and plan, he always surprises me. So the one year I was able to one up him was amazing for me.
Jane, will there be another bio reading?
Oh, yeah, that is a very good question, actually. I'm hoping there will be. I want to say hopefully this weekend, but it may have to be during a weekday again. I need to just check how things are going. I wanted to do one this past weekend, but it turned out we had something going on like every single day, so I just couldn't. But I am definitely hoping to do at least one more before the voyage. So hopefully there'll be an announcement about that soon once I get my schedule sorted out.
Sorry, I wanted to go backwards for a second. My favorite moment was probably also in 2020 when we were having a cabin party and the goose interrupted. And, I believe accosted Lightaller, if I remember.
That sounds about right.
And there was almost like a stare down between Andrew Cole and the goose because Andrew was a trained killer and so was the goose, and so it was just a very hilarious moment.
The cabin party reminded me of another moment that I think it was 2019. There was a player that's not here in the server right now, but he had a very, very, very tiny cabin on the boat deck, and his
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, his story before his stories beforehand, he was a diplomat or something, and he was expecting to get this really great stateroom, and then he got this tiny little cabin. So he invited everybody to this big party before even seeing his cabin, and he got there, and it was like a closet, and there was like 50 people in this room. It was
Yeah, I think
was
it's
great.
I think it's the one I'm at right now, SRT or something. One of these boat deck cabins. So like 50 people in this little tiny thing. Yeah, he was on the train. I remember on the train he just kept inviting more and more people for his cabin party.
Yeah, I have a luxe stateroom.
Yeah. And then we were outside of his room and he was like, "Oh, I don't think you should come in actually. I think I need to cancel." And then we all just partied anyway.
And the good thing about that is, you know, in our minds we know it's a closet, but virtually we can all fit in there. So
Yeah, virtually it was a great party. Just
Yeah,
like when we
that's,
have balls and like tiny staircase landings. Just
yeah,
never
that's what
actually
it goes back to someone saying like, "Oh, my cabin sucks. Like it's a closet." We've thrown parties in like the craziest places and the smallest cabins, and I think it makes it more fun that you can't spread out and that you're on top of each other, and I don't know, it makes it more of a action. Like
It is fun because they kind of take on a life of their own where people are just partying yet they're still role playing as if it's like super cramped, so they're bumping into people all the time and stuff. It's just very silly. Yeah.
That's when Caitlin spilled oysters all over my room.
And I had to go
the
rip out
room
your
would-
carpet.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, very well.
Because the room was so small, and she knocked over the because she was blind, knocked over.
Well, it's Shane's fault. It's Shane's fault leaving because I played blind girl that year, and he's like, "Oh, just stay here in this corner. I'll be right back." No, just leave me alone.
Oh wait, I got the number wrong,
Wanders and
didn't I?
blind.
Did get the number
Somebody
wrong.
asked on YouTube, are you going to add the iceberg if you're out on deck? So I guess he's asking if you're out on deck in a specific room. Could you see the iceberg from the room and not the animation itself?
I would like to do that actually. Like just the forward-facing rooms, kind of just draw it in on the horizon. That would be kind of fun. On the topic of wild cabin parties in tiny spaces, you've got this room here, G deck section S number 219. This space here, I'm highlighting it on the plans here, and I'm showing it in game. I want to host a gigantic party in here someday. That's like my life stream.
Is that the one where it looks like the door hits the bed?
Yeah. Here, I'll paste it in text chat too. This room, I want to host a massive party one day. Next year, maybe. I'll make some kind of joke character just for this party.
It's so small. Imagine waking up and like hitting the
I
sink
know.
floor.
Yeah, I would.
I just
Where would you
imagine
put
someone
your
who's,
like
really
trunk?
tall.
There's no way a trunk's fitting in that room.
Well, there's room underneath the bed as long as you don't have someone sleeping under there.
I guess, yeah.
That's Jack's room. I won these tickets in a lucky hand of poker, and I literally brought nothing with me. Cabin.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah, he literally had nothing.
That's why he never changes his outfit the whole movie.
Yeah, he wore the same
Yeah.
clothes every
He
day.
was in the. He
Well-
died in the same underwear he had been wearing. for
Ew!
5 days.
The
Gosh.
same underwear
Well,
that
I
was in
mean-
the car.
I was about
Gosh.
to say, to be fair, Elsa wore the same dress for the entire voyage.
I wear the same robe every single time. Don't ever change out of it.
I mean, we could assume maybe that Margaret Brown gave him a new pair of underwear with the suit she loaned him for the dinner party. Hopefully.
Do you
Hopefully.
think she forced him to bathe? I
Probably.
hope so.
Like,
Or was his hair done with like the grease of like 6 days ago?
I've got a fun fact for people.
People
Yeah,
just were like,
yeah.
"You know!"
Here, third class had 2 bathtubs, one for men and one for women, right here,
It is so gross to think
for
about.
all of them. They weren't very accustomed to
Ew.
bathing.
Oh, Shane, here's an interesting one. It's been a while since I played. Glad to be back. Will there be ways to attach kids to adult characters in the future so they don't take up spots, but we can still control them?
Yeah, that's something I would like to do. I really would like to have some form of like marking people as family members, and then you having higher chances to board with them and stuff like that. What I don't want to do is have that get abused. It would have to be very heavily vetted because people would just start saying, "Oh, this is my family member," just so they can survive together. So it would basically need to be manually assigned like historical characters, which would take we would need some help for that probably. So
whoever I hold hands with is my family.
yeah.
I only have 2 hands, people. Come
Traveling
make your
with a
choice.
family of 12. Yeah, stuff like that too.
The Fun Trap family is aboard.
Oh, well, how many kids did the Sage family bring? It was like a ton of them, wasn't it?
Like 7, I think. Something like that. 6, 7, something like that.
She had a ton of kids with her. When you think about like how much that cost,
That's true.
That's the reason I don't fly. I Can't afford my kids.
Will there be backgrounds for sailing down toward the? I'm sorry, toward the Solent and sailing along the coast of Ireland in the future?
Future. I think don't we already have? Let me see.
I
I
think
don't think they're
Ireland has.
very.
I think there is the coast of Ireland already, isn't there?
It
It
would
might
be
not
distant.
be 100% accurate to what they would look like. We can probably improve them, but there are backgrounds for the landmass. Let me check Ireland too. Yeah, Ireland has a background as well. Again, maybe not the most accurate, but it's there at least. Whoops, I've gone to my desktop.
Can we pretty please get to book pets in the kennels?
There we go.
This has been brought up
Yes.
before about having like a separate booking procedure for pets.
Yes, I would like to do that. I definitely would want to do that because, if anything, that will help make them feel more legitimate, and then maybe people will treat them more legitimately.
Yeah, I would argue that the Queenstown shoreline is not accurate.
Yeah,
They
I
were
know.
really far away. Like they had to take the boat like way out there. When I visited Queenstown, I was honestly shocked at like how far away it was. I thought it was so much closer.
Can I ask a quick question? Actually.
Yeah, of course.
So you say the job does not affect the stats for lifeboat survival. It doesn't affect it, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Even
It's-
engineers?
Yes, currently. See, this
Okay.
is part of what I would like to in the future try and change. Is I would like to basically when you register the crew, you pick the department you work in, and then based on that, there could be different kinds of stats.
Okay.
Yeah. It's forced perspective, Francis says. But yeah, I've got a lot of ideas for the crew in the future that I would like to try and do. I think everything's kind of had an overhaul except for them, so I'm not saying that's the next thing that'll come, but it's at least on my mind.
Eventually.
There's a comment on YouTube that I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's all fun and games until you see a man in one of those kennels. Because it's something I would do.
Yeah, I am
the late registration. Late registration on the system is a
100%
kennel.
Yeah, I know for sure that would happen, and it would for sure need to be a case of any humans registered in the kennels will be deleted.
But it's like I'm gonna put my accessories in the kennel.
That'd be like a video of
Shane.
this, like people. It would be like that video of people reading the development notes on The Sims. Like, I forgot what.
I like those.
Frances says she's gonna put her husband in the kennel.
Yeah, your accessories. You gotta put your accessory in the kennel.
Accessories?
Yeah.
I only go down to visit him when I need more money.
Yeah. It's totally something I would do.
Shane, can we break the game again so that there's like one cabin on Carpathia where we could get actual food?
I forgot about that.
Oh,
That was Kroll's camp.
It was Kroll's cabin, and
Yeah. We all just hung
Alice
out
and
there.
Ophelia were literally crying over their filet mignon. Like,
I think Carpathia's menu has been updated though.
I'm not sure about cabins though.
so
That
we
might
get
be
more
an
than just
oversight.
helping rice.
Yes.
Well, last year Roisin rated pantry, so she got actual food instead of helping rice.
Let me look in the library, for example. It's not as expansive as Titanic, but there is more food. Yes, I see it. because I realized for many years we've upgraded the menus in the game, but we never once upgraded them here. Bit of an oversight on my part.
For everybody who was asking to see Carpathia, there she is.
Yeah, here we go.
My first thought, the first year on Carpathia where we just had helping rice and gruel, I was like, there's other passengers on this ship, man. They wouldn't just be rice.
It's the thin ship. Oh no.
Well, you see, they reserve the good food for the paying passengers.
The employees.
Could you imagine being a survivor and you're sitting next to somebody who's like chowing down on a nice medium rare steak and all you have is rice? And they're like, no, it's mine.
This is for paying guests.
Well, you
know,
got to think about how
I'm
they
not gonna be able to test it.
like so much food per day per person, like all that stuff. So
Yeah,
you
I
add
can't test
in
it. Whoops.
how many people survived. You gotta kind of have
You should
enough
just like
food for
ask.
everyone.
You should ask. You should ask the person next to you at dinner. Be like, can I just like have a bite of your steak, please?
Can I lick your plate?
Can I lick your plate?
Oh, no,
You're
it's
just running
not-
around like checking all the room service carts, like, yes.
That's basically what I'm doing right
Find
now.
a morsel left. Please, sir, may I have some more?
I can't check.
Ma!
I can't check the cabins here because it looks like the person who owns the cabin needs to be in for food. I might need to change that. I don't know,
What?
but
Do I have
the
to
other
stalk
rooms at
people
least.
for good food?
Jump through the window.
The
That's
other
all we
people
did
at
with
least-
Troll. We just did him for food.
I know.
Room to room. Is anyone home? Can I have food?
These
Yeah,
poor
you're like,
starving
stay with
passengers.
me, it's fine. Oh, you had
These
all
poor-
the food.
These poor starving people be like, I should have went down with the ship, man.
I would have been less hungry.
Well, we're starting to get to that part of the stream.
Jane, can you
Or we just
show
get
how
stupid.
the medicine works, or no?
Oh yeah, sure. Back to Titanic.
Can you not get it on there yet?
Actually, no, wait, it is there. I forgot I added it there too. Oh well.
Say
I'm
it
here
should be in
now.
the.
But yeah, it's definitely in the Carpathia hospitals. But the Titanic hospitals or the doctor's cabin on sea deck
Yeah.
should have them.
I think if you get morphine on Carpathia, it should make you drunk. Like make your screen all blurry.
That's a good
I
idea.
just would like to know what the
That's a
options
good idea.
are.
Mother Sill's seasickness remedy, coughing pills, aspirin,
Oh, coughing pills. That's the cocaine.
and then wake up juice if you're drunk. Laudanum. This is
Oh,
what you
yes.
want right here. Opium right here.
Yep, that's it. That's what I
And
want.
bicarbonate of soda. That's what we've got for
Perfect.
this year.
Becca asks, any chance Carpathia passengers can get in sooner to RP receiving the news that they're taking on passengers, preparing for passengers? I know that I know registration's opening a little bit earlier this year, but I don't know when you can start playing on Carpathia.
Yes, I think the big thing here that's probably gonna. I think it's always gonna have to be after the ships actually sank, simply because if people start playing on Carpathia while it's sinking, that's more things going on that could potentially overload the server, and it's already almost getting overloaded sometimes. I think right now the registration opens like 20 minutes after the ship sinks, and then I forget when exactly Carpathia opens, but I do like the idea of opening Carpathia earlier, because right now there's like an hour and a half where you kind of can't do anything if you've died. And it might make it a little more seamless if, like, right as soon as you can register for Carpathia, you could also log in.
Yeah, I think the 1 year I registered, it was really, really. It wasn't a lot of time before that the Titanic passengers arrived, so I'm not sure exactly how much time they had in real life, if the passengers were aware of what was going on.
I think some of them started to get the idea that something was going on because of all the hustle and bustle going on.
Weren't they
But
all asleep?
Yeah, a lot of them were asleep. I think they would have only woken up if they heard like a lot of noise in the corridor. Really. Oh god, I can't see. I've made it too blurry. I'm just trying to illustrate that if you drink the wake up juice, it does help fix drunkenness. If you can even find it. Okay, there it is. So if I start drinking it, my screen will get less blurry. It's the only actual functional medicine right now. I like the idea of the morphine, though, and making it more blurry. I might have to do
Please wait
that.
and try again. You're drinking too.
You're just on the floor.
We had any updates?
Will the
to
game ever
Carpathia?
represent
1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila.
Will the game ever represent lifeboats unloading onto Carpathia at different times?
Yes, I wanted to, but it probably won't be 100% historically accurate because people already like get tired in the lifeboats as it is. So I'm thinking maybe just like staggered arrivals over a period of half an hour or so, maybe.
Doesn't when we all get to Carpathia, do we all get on there automatically at once, or is there like? I thought last year, I thought Rachel got there before I did last year.
It should be all at the same time, but I think just because of how it works, it might just be a little delayed getting some people there. It's trying to do everyone at once, so it might take a little time to get to people.
Does one accidentally get drunk sometimes? Someone on YouTube just said that. How do you accidentally?
Dang, that wasn't my water.
Did you not read the label?
I'm trying to figure this one out. Like, how do you accidentally click on it too many times and get drunk?
Maybe lag, like
Accidentally trips over the keyboard and face
Is that
plants.
when your auto clicker is showing?
maybe like lag if you click on something, you're like, oh, I don't get registered, and you keep clicking it, and then you're like, oh no.
Lifeboats. How do lifeboat seats work? What do you mean by that, Josh? Like the actual seat?
It means like the if you mean like the capacity for them.
Yeah, I think he means how.
Yeah, if that's
how's it like cut up or calculated?
so every year, I don't know exactly when, but like shortly before the sinking, Daniel will go. Can I actually find the magical page where we do this? Let's see. Nope, it's down right now because you've all eaten up our free resources. Every year, right before I can show it. Actually, I can do this. No, I can't do that. Never mind.
Broke the page.
Yeah, you guys broke it. I can't show it. Sorry. But every year, shortly before the sinking, Daniel will go to that magical page that's broken right now that I can't show, and he can manually set the capacities for every lifeboat there. And I still don't know exactly what he does to determine them. I just know it has something to do with the number of people online at the time and like the basic ratio of people who survived. That's his secret.
I'm still waiting for that setting that determines how much time you've spent like interacting in game that ups your chances of survival.
That would be fun, yeah.
Just because we have so many people that log on just for the sinking and
I will say
play that out.
Yeah, I will say that this year we are trying to do something about that, but I can't really say what that something is because then people try and abuse it. But we'll see if it helps this year.
I'll accept try this time, Shane.
Yeah. Anything's better than just Mr. I've never logged in coming and stealing your base. And then logging immediately off like they do.
Honestly, that's a huge pet peeve. fine to see you only log in for the thinking when so many of us put in so much work.
I think I had to get Andrew to throw somebody in jail. Maybe it was 2020. They logged in just for the sinking and then spent the entire time like on the deck screaming in all caps, "We're all gonna die! It's sinking!" And like
my
it
Yeah.
just struck.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
What a
I
trooper.
think that's the same. I think that's the same person that was like stabbing people.
Stabbing people.
There was one person on the boat deck a couple years ago that was just like screaming, "I gotta get into a boat! I gotta get into a boat!" They started just role playing stabbing everybody. I had to throw them in jail. Then they were mad.
Then they got mad. Wow, okay.
They did. They're like, "I'm just trying to survive." I'm like, "No, dude."
Yeah, I like my character told them to be quiet and they called me a not nice name that starts with a C and ends with a T and
Wouldn't be the first time you're called that.
I was gonna say, I feel like
thanks,
Once
Rachel,
you
for bringing up bad memories.
once you've earned that name, it's a level of greatness that we all aspire to,
Yeah,
honestly.
especially as a mod.
Right?
It's like a badge of honor. You finally made someone mad enough.
Or you just get called a man.
Mr. Duchess.
Does
I had
Daniel
no
have
idea,
characters he keeps secret?
idea.
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes he does. I know at least once he made someone to mess around with Francis, which is fun.
I've only ever seen Daniel like in a public room once. I know he's in his cabin a lot.
If you really want to see him, he usually seems to like hang out in the smoking rooms during the sinking, I think.
Mm-hmm. Or just go to his cabin.
Francis said he bullied him. Francis said he bullied me.
He stalked you with the secret character one year. Yeah, it was pretty fun.
I think that would be so much fun.
Yeah, every now and then he makes someone, but he usually doesn't publicize it, even to us. I think it's nice.
It's not
for
an
him to
invitation
just...
for people to come and stalk my characters.
I feel like Daniel
Please
makes a
don't.
character, and I think he lurks around just to see how crazy we get.
Oh, yeah.
He
think
sees
so,
it
too.
anyways. I don't understand. Like, I would
But,
really
like-
like to see Daniel like add fuel to the
Like,
fire.
if he's
in the
like,
lounge or
yeah, if he's
something.
like incognito in the room, he can then like actually contribute to the situation without people being like, "Look, Daniel's contributing
So-
to chaos."
Yeah.
I was
There's
just
no way
gonna
he's
say,
not
I was
doing
just gonna
that.
say. Well, I was just gonna say maybe he's incognito and he's actually maybe he's the one that started the riot last year.
I could see that happening. I like that. I like that. That lore
Theory.
theory. There, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Someone asked if we can end with Carpathia arriving in New York. Yeah, I'll go there right now because I feel like we are probably getting close to the end. I've at least got
Really, you're gonna ruin the suspense? Not that we've.
Ruin it for everyone.
You know, you've got a point.
These
Maybe
kids
I
are
won't
gonna
do
go to
that.
Twitter and blame Jane for ruining everything.
Showing you the ending
They're
of the
gonna
game.
scream spoilers.
Spoiler.
Are you gonna add the Statue of Liberty reviews of New York on deck at the end of the voyage? I mean, we do pass
I
the
think-
statue.
I think they are visible from the Carpathian
They are on
steps.
certain ones.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
every point.
That's
but
like a
the-
whole thing. Is we all go out on deck and see,
With all
Statue.
90 of us.
and we're all like, "It's so beautiful." Stands in rain, gets wet,
Yeah, it stands in the rain and it's cold. Idiot.
shivers.
Holds
sips
on to one
tea.
another. Clutches to the significant other.
Twist ending where Carpathia hits a second iceberg. I've wondered, like, what would happen if something like that actually did happen.
So I know that one of the actually the Roblox RP that just happened actually did that. I forget exactly what happened, but the first ship like hit a rock and then started to sink, and then the second ship blew up or something. It was great.
Is that the one that we did together?
No, Sean told me about it. I wasn't there for that one, but I was like, that sucks.
That's the one that you died under a chair.
That under a wicker chair.
That was terrible.
I don't know, Sean. You told me about it. It was like the ship like blew up or something, hit an iceberg.
Shit
There's a
blew
few
up.
ships that sunk at the same time. I don't know. I don't remember. Oh, the police lines. That's a Roblox game. Plugging for Roblox here.
I think my favorite person freaking out after when, I guess it would be more so when, this is from like years ago, when the one was running up and down the deck screaming, "I'm a child, let me in."
Oh no.
It was just really funny to watch.
Honestly, during the sinking, it's so I have multiple characters, obviously. I'll put one that I know is going to die, or like a side character on global, so I can see if anybody's causing trouble. But for the most part, I have like my serious characters on solid chat because I lose everybody in a sinking.
Is anybody keeping count of how many times we said we're going to wrap this up?
No.
Probably a lot.
Like 4 at least.
It's been a 3-hour Q&A.
Oh yeah.
Did you like that the numbers are dwindling? Well, eventually it's just going to be us.
Okay, that's fine. Titanic
Then
party.
the real party begins. Yeah.
I was just saying that's the real party.
Except
I was
that
gonna say it's just
this is
nostalgia
really
now.
draining on my phone. I've been plugged in to a charger for the last hour, and I'm still only at 6%.
Wow.
Oh boy.
It's struggle
fair.
busted a little bit.
Dedication though.
And I still have like 6 students who are hanging out at the school, and I would like them to go home so that I can go home.
Would be helpful.
I'm gonna go yell at them to go home.
I'm trying to think if
I'll
I
be right
have
back.
a like sinking freak out that was my favorite. I don't know. Seen a
Oh,
lot.
actually, yeah. I just remembered the
All
only
my
kind of freak out I ever encountered during the
Yeah.
sinking. It wasn't really a freak out, but it was. There was this person, I was Murdoch in like 2019, and this person continuously, like every 10 minutes, went to the bridge warning us about the iceberg. And then I just kind of tried to like shrug it off, kind of just try to have Murdoch carry on. But then like the night after then the last night after the sunset, the same guy comes back, and at that point an admin is there, and he like moves him to the padded cell, and I feel bad for him. It's like,
all my freak
yeah,
outs.
he had it coming.
And then later that night, Murdoch was like, "Oh my God, he was right all along."
Yes.
Meanwhile, Emerald and Alice were just up harassing
I was gonna say, yeah. We were just
all of my
up there
Oh.
being like, "Hey, boys."
all of my freak outs.
Alice tricked.
Cap-
Who was it? Who did you? Harold. Who? Oh, Wild. You tricked him into marrying you.
No.
Oh, did he trick you into marrying him?
I don't know. It was weird.
He
All
really
my freak
committed,
outs
though. He
in-
committed.
It was.
I just use follow chat. Like, I'll just make a follow chat if someone I like, And then I'll just flip to it real quick if I want to see if they're saying anything. Like, oh, did I miss something they said? No. Let me go back to room chat. That's how I use it.
I use
Freak out.
HoloChat to find people. Like if I log
Yeah,
on,
that too,
and
that
I
too.
have people in HoloChat, I can see they're in the library, and then I'll just go to the library.
Yep.
That's how I use it as well.
Yeah,
My freakouts involve yelling at Shane. Mace. I don't freak out in game. I freak out in private, and I message.
I typically don't look at like anything else during the syncing because I'm just juggling like 8
He
characters.
doesn't, and then he'll see it like 5 hours later. He's like,
Yeah.
"What?"
I'll come back and be like, oh yeah, that. Sorry.
Jane likes to ignore us.
I think the most terrifying moment was my character, who was related to Ilsa's story, being Andrew's character. We're like, we have to get to the top. Let's run through all these rooms that are partially flooded.
Andrew likes to walk through the whole ship,
Yeah, exactly.
murdering people as he brings them along.
I'm not gonna lie.
Only Andrew would endanger himself and other characters just to walk through each of the ship.
Yeah, I will for sure encourage people to stay inside during the syncing because it's a lot of fun up to a point. Like not the whole time, but
It's pretty boring being out on deck right away because, and it's also just people screaming and people saying great. Like the chat goes by so fast.
Yeah. Last year, I think I was in the library until like 12:50 or so, and then we went to E-deck to look for someone, and we came into the staircase as it was flooding, and we were like, "Oh my god, the stairs are flooding! Let's get up top now."
Yeah, I forgot that Elsa actually did that twice. She went through the same exact path 2 different times. That was a nightmare with 2 different groups.
Yeah, because then you came through the reception room with us later.
We had that route planned. We went over that route 100 times because I was terrified of messing it up. And still, as planned as it was still an adrenaline rush.
Yeah, it was hard. We were in the general room. We went down to D-deck. We went through the second class saloon. We went through the kitchens, through the first class saloon, into the reception room as it was flooding, and then we ran up the stairs to get to the boat deck finally. Yeah, it was hectic.
It seemed like at one point, like we actually, I think most of the people in that party lost you, Shane, and we kind of like slightly panicked. Where did he go? And we were just kind of stuck in the like top level of, I think maybe A deck of the grand staircase, and just waiting for you. That was terrifying.
There's truly nothing like the panic, though, of being on a deck or in a room when it suddenly starts flooding and you see that blue line and you're like, click away!
Yeah.
Click away! Like panic clicking.
Yeah, you hear the water sound in your ears and it just makes you shiver.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no.
If you're in Rachel's household, you get like a 4D experience. Her husband threw ice at her one year.
The 4D experience.
He also likes to ask me probably every 20 minutes if I've died yet, and we're knowing if it's over. Every single time that he if he hears when you first load the page, the noise of the ship, he stops what he's doing and looks at me and like glares. He's like, "It's not April yet."
You just need to get that sound as a trigger for him. Just like play it randomly throughout the year.
Oh my goodness.
Just have it as his ringtone. Or his text message.
The text tone, yeah.
I don't think that I've ever had my phone not on vibrate. I don't even know what text tones I have.
I'm usually the same.
I just realized I'll be leaving my house in the foreseeable future. For this voyage, I should like crank up my speakers to their max volume during the syncing. So I send off my neighbors with
That's what I did.
Jake.
Yeah.
Like a few years back. few years back, I had it playing through my TV, and we had like surround sound speakers, and I just cranked that up, and like the whole house was constantly vibrating from the engine sounds like every day.
Oh, I need to do that this year.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure your roommates will love it.
Oh yes, exactly.
I'm sure my roommates would love it.
Just hear like screams coming from the next door. A lot of screams coming.
You're
No,
gonna
I've
have the cops show up.
legitimately had my child was like, why are people screaming in here? I'm like, it's a game. What game? Can I watch it crash?
Yeah, that's. Have you sunk yet? Are you dead? Please go away. Mommy's watching her stories.
You're waiting to join lifeboat queues, and you're like, get out!
Meanwhile, my hands are like super sweaty.
My favorite thing about the sinking is how violent we all become toward our significant others. I know Becca, when she's typing right now, her boyfriend came into her office and was asking her what she wanted for dinner. She threw her coffee and put him.
Goodness.
I told my boyfriend before we moved in together. I was like, you can't text me. Don't text me.
Yeah, most people know that I'm just like not reachable during that week.
Yeah, I think
And
I made it
my
known
best friend, my best friend was calling me the one here, and I picked up the phone. Are you dead? She's like, what? I said, are you dead? She goes, well, obviously not. I said, are you dying? She goes, no. I said, then it's important.
Talk to you later. Bye.
I make it known to everybody I know to at least not talk to me from 6 p.m. On the 14th here to like any other time that day.
Can confirm.
Oh yeah, I told you. I was even playing with you. I forgot about that.
My only interaction with you was literally in the game.
Oh yeah.
And what was great about that is, as Creed and I were your bodyguards, you had no idea that we both survived.
Oh yeah. I thought everybody I knew died.
I will say that is a lot of fun if you can do that, where you really kind of don't pay attention to anything outside of where your characters are.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I feel like that's the best way to do it, especially when you're playing with a group or you have joined a group during the voyage, is don't talk to them during the sinking, and then like it really makes the emotions of finding out whether they lived or died like that much more impactful.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, Andrew, what was your immediate reaction when you saw that we both survived?
I'm trying to think. I remember I joined a voice chat with you guys because that was like active over in that server like immediately after the ship went down, and just I was like half dead and just didn't. Oh, yeah.
I'd like to go home.
I was like half dead and just like completely dead inside, and just went like, that was fun, see you later, and then left the chat assuming that you guys had already died, and then all of a sudden I see your names emerge in Carpathia, and I'm like, how did these idiots survive? Forgive me. No offense, of course, but that's like kind of the reaction. I was like, what? I could have. One of my other characters died, and I thought I saw your guy's name in the water. I guess that's because you were on like collapsible B, and we're just like in the water as it was going down. So yeah, that basically it was the biggest no you.
That was my brother. He got on my boat with me, and we kept cracking.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was a fun day. That at least made me a little happier than if that in like, even though that was a horrible day by itself, that made me a little more like hopeful that okay, my character isn't going to be completely broken. At least that was some I don't know the word at the moment, but at least some, like, it consoled my character at least a little. So that was good. I was happy about that.
That's good. That's really good. Because, like, gosh, we were trying so hard not to, like, spoil it, too. We wanted you to see it on the Carpathia.
Yeah, you did a good job too, because the fact that you didn't say anything when I joined the voice chat made me just assume, yeah, everybody in this chat is dead.
I was smiling ear to ear.
God, it has been 3.5 hours. You're right.
Oh well, yeah, sure. But yeah,
I don't think that I could play
fun.
with my significant other, Becca. There's just no way. There's no way I could play with Eric. There's just no way. It would be the weirdest thing ever. Could you imagine that,
I
Caitlin?
feel like no. I mean, I feel like I could play with Sean, but it would probably result in me getting pissed off that he was making jokes.
I don't think I could do it. I would just get really mad at him.
Would you please shut up?
Honestly.
Yeah, I think if my husband played, he would just be deeply concerned why there's so much sexy times happening on the ship.
It cracks me up how much erotic scenes I see every year.
I mean, some of them are fun to read later, but then some aren't.
There's just others that are awkward. The elevator last year was awkward.
Yeah, that was funny though. I feel like, so after seeing the elevator and seeing that it's all mirrors, could you imagine walking into the elevator and there's handprints
Oh,
everywhere?
God. Yeah, let me.
No.
Like, is
I'll
that
just
a
I'll just
footprint?
go to the elevator just for no reason.
Yes, this is why I don't let my oldest play. They have asked, and
You all
I say
ruin
no.
it for kids.
yes, you guys make it weird. Make it weird
they would
that I
see-
don't. There's no way.
They would see some really weird stuff going on and be like, that's my mom.
I mean, my mom plays, and
But
there are
that's
times where
different.
but there's times where she calls me and she's just like, "What are you doing?"
Don't worry about it.
I forgot about
It's like my family doesn't understand the game. They just know I do it. It's like my mom will try to be like, how's it going? And I'm just like, I can't even tell you.
I feel like if my dad played, it would be a lot like the story when Shane's dad played, and he would just be an officer, direct people when they're desperately looking for a way out. He'd direct them and accidentally like point them down into the ship and accidentally kill them. And
Yeah, he was telling him to go to spots where the boats had already left and stuff like that.
yeah, that too. Yeah, I feel like that's what would happen. That might need to happen one year. Either that or he'd register with his real name. One of the two.
No, Rachel's starting to lose her voice.
What?
I might be. You're starting to lose your voice. I
Well, I've been yelling for 3 days straight. So I woke up this morning, and so that's why I'm all gravelly and weird, and it's coming in and out. I've been drinking a ton of water, but coming in and out. Like your voice. Yes, I am currently talking. This is me. I'm talking. I'm Rachel. Someone in YouTube just asked if I was talking. Yes. I don't know. Am I? Oh, this is
Yep.
being streamed to YouTube, right? I am.
yeah, we're still there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this is me.
Who's
Megan's
driving?
I'm gonna assume it's Megan.
It's us.
What?
Somebody just shared a meme on Discord.
Oh, we are totally at that part of the stream now.
Megan, Can we
Somebody
stop
just-
at McDonald's?
Somebody just said don't.
I can't hear you.
We're gonna make we're gonna cause a car accident and then.
Oh no.
Can you pick her out?
Do you want me to pull over?
No. I don't hear it much. It's like coming in every now and then. I think it's fine for now.
It's because I drive a diesel. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm lead-footed. I can't help it.
this is valid.
I'm gonna go to the second class elevator too, because why not? Although, really, we're nearly done, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Somebody requested fries and ice cream. I'm very near a Wendy's, and a Frosty sounds delicious.
Megan, I'll
There we
take just
go.
French fries.
French fries?
God,
Okay.
You know how
literally every single time the streams end with some form of food. Like
Yeah, that's true.
every single time. This one's ending now with like a Wendy's order.
I'll
No.
take every Toto album.
That is not true. In 2020, one of the streams ended with random animal noises.
That's true.
The first Q&A.
Yeah. Everyone's
So that was
taking
definitely
shots
the
when we
weirdest
say
way to-
let's wrap this up.
You haven't been in our very, very intoxicated Titanic, whatever they're called, chats.
Titanic
yeah.
parties. I have.
Titanic party, I drank way too much champagne and like disappeared from view on the camera because I was laying on the floor.
Can confirm. I'll also have a milkshake.
A
Coffee.
milk thing? Is that what you just called it?
No,
Yeah.
no, I said milkshake.
You know, there's a Wendy's like 3 minutes from here, and I'm starting to think that sounds pretty good actually. And Frosty.
Night, Francis. I love your face.
My dogs are
Oh, bye,
looking at me
Francis.
like it's time to eat. So
Well, if everyone needs food, then I think this might be the end here in the second
That's
class
fair.
elevator.
That's fair.
but it was a great session, and I hope
It
everybody
was.
learned. The new people learned a lot. So
Yeah, I think we touched on a lot of very good topics. He answered some questions very thoroughly sometimes.
Indeed.
I think a lot came out of this, so I had fun with it.
True.
yeah. Well, I'm going to disconnect then, and I'll see everybody in the chat and on board.
Yeah, thank you for organizing this.
Yes. Thank
Oh,
you.
it's fun. I enjoyed it. Oh, bye, Gwen.
I'm gonna sign off as well. I have life things to do. So I will see you guys in the chat. Thanks for all
See
the
you later.
questions.
I'm gonna sign off too because I'm driving.
Bye.
Yeah, be safe.
Bye.
Hi.
And it's about time for me to go get Wendy's as well. Now that we've talked
Yes,
about
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I need to do something, I think.
it. 11 days. Wow.
It's so freaking close. Holy cow.
Yeah, I didn't realize until oh wow, 11 days. Wow, that even puts it into a different perspective.
I still can't believe that, like, I actually got my sister to join in.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have one person I know in real life who is interested in Titanic. I don't think she'd be interested. She was my sister-in-law, and I think potentially she could. Or no, I said my stepsister. She should. Yeah, I should tell her about that. She might be interested in seeing the chaos of everything.
Yeah.
The chaos. Okay,
And
I'm gonna end the YouTube stream.
good idea.
We need-
I'll get close to. Oh, thank you. Oh yeah, you're the only one developer left here. So thank you, Shane, for
Sure, I
the
am.
questions. Yeah, and thank you, Diggle, for helping moderate, and thank you everybody for joining. And see you in 11 days.
In 11 days. See y'all doing
11 days.
Yeah.
11 days. And then in, I think, 17, we all die. So look forward to that as
Yeah.
well. See you
Yeah,
guys.
exactly. Yeah, busy week. See ya.